Ladies and gentlemen, to Weymouth Field here at Sidney, Nebraska for our second internet streaming broadcast. We will be broadcasting tonight's game between Lexington and Sidney. Currently, you see we are doing Parents' Night here in Sidney. And yes, it is windy. We do have some adverse conditions to deal with here tonight. We have a little bit of snow going on, some sleet, some rain, a little bit of everything. We expect that to continue, if not increase, during the evening. We did have some good precipitation throughout the day, throughout the afternoon, so this might actually be better conditions than we've seen all day. We're also one of the few games going on in the Panhandle tonight. With me in the booth tonight is Eric Cole, and we were talking about this earlier. All of the Class B teams are playing tonight, but Alliance, Scottsbluff, and Gering all have away games.
Yeah, Alliance plays at 4-1 McCook. Gering plays at 0-4 Hastings, and Scottsbluff plays at 1-4 Grand Island Northwest. So we are the only game of Class B in the Panhandle today.
Again, I'm Roger Galloway, and we are here broadcasting live from Weymouth Field. Tonight, we're doing our broadcast, what I'm going to call Studio B. Last week we were on the roof of the admin building. We had the track tent up there and managed to stay fairly dry. But tonight we're trying to improve things a little bit. And we are inside the track shed, more commonly known as the track shed. But henceforth known as Studio B, I think I'm going to call it.
Yeah, I like this studio. We actually have the shed door shut right now. I don't know, possibly we'll turn it on and open it up later on, but at least for now we won't have to worry about the wind coming in the mics like I know we had a little bit last time when we were on that building. But we don't have to worry about being blown away either, which is nice. That was a concern last time. There were times we had to hold that tent up as well. That's senior night's going on right now, I believe, or is it parents and of both, or is it just seniors?
No, it would be parent. With the senior parents. We have currently 3 cameras going out on the field, plus one here in the studio. Running cameras for us tonight, we will have several gentlemen helping us out. We will have Jacob Peterson on one camera, Joseph Tomsick on another camera, and Gunnar Coffey on a third camera. And then second half, when Jacob Evertson gets done with pep band, he's going to come to a 4th camera for us.
Yeah, it's pretty great for those guys to do this. They're out there. We actually have trash bags over the cameras. They're kind of inside the trash bags, trying to keep warm tonight. But these guys love to do it. I talked to them last week after the game got over and asked if they still enjoyed it, even with the crazy weather conditions that we had, and they said they had a great time. So it's fun to have students participating in this.
It really is, and they've kind of taken to it and gotten excited about it. Matt McKay, our technical producer, as always, helping put all of this together. And for only our second broadcast here, we've actually made strides in what we're able to produce, we hope, and the product we're bringing to you. We've managed to make our system a little bit more portable. For all practical purposes, we can take the show on the road now. And to that end, we even have some better setup with some of our cameras. I had found that I remember we had a couple cameras that last year were actually donated to us from Cabela's. And while they didn't really work too well for what we needed at the time, they're perfect for what we have today. They're a quality camera that use a mini DV tape. Well, the only problem for us was the mini DV tapes last 60 minutes. Almost all of our contests are longer than 60 minutes, and it's usually not something where you can just stop and switch tapes in the middle of the contest. So we didn't have a real good purpose for them until now. But I tell you what, the ability to take a nice Canon camera, something in the range of a $5,000 camera, and put it on the tripod to stream games for you tonight is going to be fantastic, I think. National anthem is being played now as we get ready for the contest. Lexington will be the team here on the close sideline in the white jerseys. You might also notice a little bit difference in the Sidney uniform tonight. They are doing pink night. They will be wearing some pink apparel in awareness of breast cancer tonight. So I know that we should have a number of guys in pink socks, pink sweatbands, things of that nature. So No, the color on your TV or your computer screen is not messed up. It's just something that the team has kind of taken upon themselves to do here the last couple of years, and a nice gesture on their part. So we appreciate that greatly. And there we are. We finish up with the national anthem, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, we have white snowflakes swirling around us.
Amazing early October. Well, exciting matchup we have tonight. We have 2-3 Lexington. They're coming off last week's kind of crazy game in Alliance. There was 22 combined fumbles for the teams, 13 which were lost, 5 lost by Lexington, 8 lost by Alliance. They had very similar conditions that we had last week here against McCook, where it was raining. The field was very wet, moisture throughout most of the game. They lost last week 8-13 to Alliance. They're 2-3 on the season. Last week, Sidney lost to McCook 17-6, and Sidney competed well against McCook, even taking a lead in the third quarter before McCook ended up getting a 2-possession lead to win 17-6.
Yeah, that's right. And to be quite honest, it's probably been a long time where we've had a game that was that competitive with McCook. I really felt like our team went with the Bison toe-to-toe for the majority of the game. And it literally came down to the difference of a couple kicks and a couple penalties for both teams.
Absolutely.
We saw a number of drives that were either kept going because of that or were stopped. And that was as the case was both for the Raiders and the Bison.
And speaking of, you were saying it's one of the closest games it's been in a while. I know on the NSAA website I can check the last 8 years, and before this game, the previous close was 22 points. So there was no single-digit games, and this was easily the closest of those. And most of those were 40-plus or more. So a very competitive game, and it was a fun game to be a part of, fun game to watch. And Sidney did all the things they needed to do to put themselves in a chance to win the game.
And it's not a situation where Sidney hasn't been able to go to McCook and take an opening drive down and score, because we have. It's just always been a matter of being able to maintain that pace throughout the game. Obviously, McCook, a much larger Class B team, able to platoon players more. We saw a team that only played 4 guys both ways.
Yeah.
And certainly that is not the case for the Red Raiders tonight. Lexington is a team that is very comparable in size to us. Student enrollment, athletes, right across the board. Last year, traveling down to Lexington was another good game, another good close contest. You could see it was a game that it was there for the taking. Lexington took advantage of some turnovers and some breaks and managed to come out on top on that one.
Yeah, last year the score, Lexington defeated Sidney 24-6. Both teams last season were 1-8. Lexington's last playoff appearance was 2000. And they've gone 3 times since 2000. Sidney's last playoff appearance was 1994, and we're hoping this year that Sidney can make the playoffs, and they're off to a good start. We were kind of looking at some district opponents, and that's why we were mentioning earlier who they're playing between Alliance and Gearing and Scottsbluff. So it'll be exciting to see how this unfolds. This is the last test before districts begin. The only common opponent both these teams have so far, Lexington and Sidney have both played Northwest. Lexington played them 2 weeks ago, beat them 23-20, and Sidney played them the first week of the season 44-22. And you never really want to compare scores, but if you do at least compare them in this regard, both teams won competitive games, and Sidney actually played really well and got a lot of offensive yards in that game, over 500 yards rushing. I think Sidney's going to break out and have a big game rushing tonight as well.
I do too. I mean, we've seen Sidney be incredibly strong with their rushing offense here throughout the season in their first 5 games. McCook was the one that finally put the brakes on the Red Raiders a little bit, I think holding us to 158 yards rushing. We had been on a pace over 300 yards prior to that. So definitely this is a game where the Red Raiders are wanting to get back on track, get back on the winning side of things, try to get things moving in the right direction, as you said, before they head to district play. Certainly, it's not a must-win game. You can go and win all your district games and still go to state. However, you certainly want to go into it with the best possible record that you can. Looking at rankings so far, looking from maxpreps.com, the Freeman football rankings have Sidney listed at number 13 overall in Class B. But the rankings that really matter are those provided by the state, the NSAA, and we are currently sitting on playoff points. We are sitting at number 11 overall. Lexington down below that, Gearing below that, Alliance below that. So Red Raiders in a favorable position right now. Just need to find a way to keep the momentum going and take what's been a strong start to the season and finish it the same way.
Absolutely. And one thing that I kind of looked at when I was looking at the stats is Lexington has a really good field goal kicker. This is a kicker that has made at least a 40-yarder. There were a couple of games this year where he's made 2 or 3 field goals in the game. So the weather, it is breezy, but as we saw last week, McCook was not afraid to kick in those conditions. I don't think Lexington's going to be afraid, and I think with the quality of the kicker that they have, that they'll be willing, if they're in those positions, to attempt field goals.
And while we won't necessarily see a lot of passing, I wouldn't say that it's completely out of the question either. Lexington getting ready to kick off here to begin the contest. Chance Anglin will be deep for the Raiders. And with the kick, game is underway. Low line drive. And the ball's going to be a touchback. The ball's going to come out to the 20-yard line for the Raiders as they begin their first offensive series. Not a lot of crowd here tonight. Sparse settings there in the stands.
This year so far, Chance Anglin and Logan Lewis have combined for 255 carries. That's an incredible amount of carries for over 1,400 yards on the season. Those two players.
Wow.
Isn't that impressive?
And we are basically just at the halfway point of the season. Raiders line up. Strong right formation. Motion across. Harvey seems to have slipped. Maybe got stepped on by somebody as the ball was snapped. Going to be a loss on the play for the Raiders. Ball on about the 17-yard line. Strong right again. Anglin deep into the backfield. Coming back up to the right side.
It's a run of about 4 or 5 yards for Anglin.
Nice push for him on the second down there. Raiders with the short set. Coming up to the ball. Same formation. Logan Lewis, the lone deep back. Motion across with Deaver. Counter play back to Anglin around the right side. Trying to find the corner. Able to get a few yards.
Close to the first down, but looks a little short.
I think he's going to be a few yards short on this. Typical of what we've seen of the Raider offense. Like to use a lot of misdirection. They're trying to stretch the field wide and then punch it back inside with Logan on the midline and veer series. But nice little play. You see them use there a lot on third downs where they create direction one way and then try to counter back with Anglin.
So 4th down here, 4th and 2. And it does look like Lane's going to drop back to punt here.
Raiders are going to shift back into punt formation. Harvey with the kick. Towards the sideline, as he's instructed to do. Going to put the ball on about the 43-yard line, 42-yard line. Where Lexington's going to set up shop.
So great field position right off the bat here for Lexington.
And that's one of the things you really want to try to accomplish, either getting a series going, getting a drive going. Not only, obviously, you're trying to score, but you're trying to establish field position throughout the contest as well. Not a lot of fun if the team only has to go 30, 40 yards. Close formation here for Lexington. Shotgun snap. Quarterback draw.
A lot of running room.
Nobody seeming to account for number 3, Morgan Ansbach. A 6-foot, 195-pound senior.
And they've actually had some problems there with their quarterback position. They've had a couple guys get concussions, so this is either their second or third string quarterback.
You know, and in a similar situation last year, Lexington lost their quarterback prior to the game with Sidney and seemed to manage to get through the game quite well. Lexington Minutemen drawing Sidney off sides there on the play. Getting him with the hard count. Bring up a 1st and 5 for the Minutemen. Trips right for the Minutemen. Ansbach. One receiver split left. Going to be a pass. Bubble screen out to the right.
Completed inside the 10.
Nice gain. Nice pickup for the Minutemen. They're going to go quick huddle here. No huddle offense. Clock is running. Back to shotgun formation, spread formation. trying the hard count. Now he's getting the play from the sideline. Going to shift strength. Little quarterback option. He's going to find, did he get in? Just short, just short. Going to be on about the half-yard line.
I couldn't find a lot of Lexington stats, but when I looked through kind of some of their old newspapers online, it looks like almost every game they have similar amount of rushing yards and passing yards. So I think they're a multi-dimensional offense, so they try to go through the air and pass, but it's not usually a lot of downhill passing. It looks like it's short kind of nickel and dime passes to try to chip away, with also some inside running, it looks like, early on.
I'm sure we will see a lot of spread formations, some trips formations. We've already seen a little bubble screen where the receiver wraps around inside, gets a blocking from the other receivers. At the same time, then that allows you to set up a zone read or an option game with your quarterback and your lone running back. So Minutemen are going to try and spread things out here a little bit early on against the Raiders.
Looks like we're inside the 1. The quarterback already has 26 rushing yards on 2 attempts.
Still shotgun formation. Spread. Receivers out to the wide. Quick snap. Going to try and get hit behind his guys. A little push from the number 30.
Lemus, number 30.
And it looks like Ansbach is in for the score.
So he already has 3 carries this game and a completed pass. So he's off to a very fast start. And that's what happens kind of when you get in the short side of the field, that opportunity.
And as you can see there in the top right-hand corner of your screen, we did have the flag blowing. We do have considerable wind. Setting up for the extra point attempt. Kick is up. Looks to be straight and true. So Lexington's going to jump off to the early lead here tonight. 7-0 in the first quarter. Lexington with the wind at their back. That could possibly be a factor throughout the game. We'll keep an eye on that. Not a lot of precipitation in the air at this point, but it is cold. It is definitely a chilly, chilly night out there tonight.
It is cold. Right now, Lexington's highest amount of points they've had in the game is 23. They've done that twice. Otherwise, they have it 8-7, and then they were shut out against York earlier this season. Sidney scored 44 points twice, 32 points once, 12 points once, and 6 points once. This might be a little different than last week where we had such a low-scoring game. Maybe we're going to have some fireworks tonight.
Definitely the potential is there. Sidney's going to need to find their way here, and I'm sure at this point they're still testing out the waters. Kick is off. Back to Anglin. Going to try the right side.
Up to about the 25.
About the 25-yard line. This is the time where, as a team, early in the contest, you really want to try and establish a drive. You really want to try to get something going, get a little momentum. You still are kind of testing out your plan for the game, trying out some different things, maybe testing the defense, seeing where some opportunities are.
First possession, Sidney had 3 carries for 7 yards and had to punt on 4th.
Around the left side with Angle, looks to have some room, makes the sideline. Nice gain on the play, probably a gain of about 8 yards on the play.
Great first down. I mean, if you can ever have a first down of 8 yards, you're liking your chances at 2nd and 2.
Definitely gives you some options, creates some opportunities for you as an offense, opens up the playbook.
And last possession, the first play, we had that 3-yard loss with Lane Harvey, so it's nice to get the 8-yard run on the first play here of this drive.
Motion across with Deaver. Give is to Deaver. Defensive end for Lexington stays home. Number 2, Dakota Hernandez, a 5'9", 165-pound junior for the Minutemen.
Deaver hasn't had a lot of carries this year. This is only his 26th attempt, and coming into this, he had 170 yards.
And Deaver is kind of like we've said before, kind of the forgotten man of the trio here in the backfield. Snap is to Lewis. Going to try the right side behind Sager.
Going to need about 2 yards, it looks like, here on 4th down, 4th and 2. Last time 4th and 3, Lane dropped back to punt. This time 4th and 2 inside their own 35-yard line.
Rosenbaum split left.
Lane will drop back again.
shift to punt. Oh, a little rugby-style punt, not a fake. Punting towards the sideline. Again, Lexington going to start out with favorable field position.
Last time they started at the 42, I think they're going to start even closer than that. Looks like they're marking them all the way inside at the 35. So only a 2-yard punt. Not the start that Sidney was hoping for, offensively or defensively. And now the defense immediately are right back on the field without a first down and 35 yards away for Lexington, who has a very good field goal kicker.
Spread formation again for the Minutemen. Option to the right. Ansbach coming around the right side. Going to keep it. Tucks the ball. Nice gain.
I'll tell you what, he's off to a very good start right now.
Looks like he got maybe 8, possibly 9 yards on the carry there. Short and second for the Minutemen.
The only time he's had a carry so far less than 9 yards was his 1-yard touchdown run.
Definitely something that Lexington has seen on tape and that they're going to try and exploit early here in the game.
4 carries for 36 yards.
Spread right again for the Minutemen. Motion. Zone read, but the
good defense.
Raiders, nothing doing there. Jake Heron in on the tackle for the Raiders. Going to bring up a third and still short situation for Lexington. Lexington, as you can see, does not huddle up. They stay on the ball. All of the players receiving the play from the sideline, checking their wristbands. Trips left now for the Minutemen. One receiver split right. And it looks like they drew him off again on a hard count.
Second time Sidney's jumped off sides. This one will result in a first down. Did the other one result in a first down too on that first possession? I think
no,
it did.
I think it just created a 1st and 5.
Oh, okay.
It created a 1st and 5 on that situation.
So Sidney's back's against the wall again, so they got to turn up the defense here, get a 3 and out if possible.
When you have a team that already has the short field to work with, those are not the type of penalties you can afford to give.
Fumble on the play.
On the ground, running back's able to pick it back up. Slight misconnection on the play.
Lemus will gain 1.
Lexington checks the play, comes up to the ball. And the give again is to Lemus. 5'9", 175-pound senior for the Minutemen. Typical of a lot of the quick, scat-back type running backs we've seen from Lexington over the years. Trips left. Lone receiver to the right. Drops back to pass.
Good
Blitz
hit.
to the middle. A lot of pressure put on the quarterback that time by number 72.
Good job by Kevin Jurgensen getting the quarterback. Incomplete pass. He was trying for a quick pass. Looked like he had an open receiver, but Kevin Jurgensen got there, made a play. And that's kind of what we're talking about. Sidney needs to make some of those plays here to get themselves back on the field and kind of stop the bleeding here early on.
Definitely. Well-timed blitz there for the Raiders.
And they're going to set up for this. This looks like about a 37, 38-yarder. He's made up to at least 40 yards, I saw in one of the newspaper articles, and he's a very good kicker with multiple games of 2 or more made field goals.
Wind at his back. Kick is up.
Plenty of distance.
And it is good.
Beautiful kick.
3 more points for the Minutemen. Going to increase our score here in the first quarter. Lexington 10, Sidney 0.
Well, this is a big possession, and obviously every possession you play in a football game is important. But right now, you've had 2 possessions where you have yet to get a first down. You've had to punt both times. We haven't had great punts into this wind. We really need to get some first downs, wear down that defense a little bit, let our defense get some rest, and try to get some points on the board. Because Lexington, they're feeling very confident right now on both sides of the ball. They've had 2 defensive stops right off the bat, and they've had 2 offensive scores in their first 2 possessions.
And I think the key word, as you said, is confidence. Something that the Red Raiders have got to find in a hurry here. Not a situation where you want to get behind too early in the contest. Red Raiders simply needing to find a little bit of the rhythm, find their stride, get that rushing attack going that we've seen all season long here. Lexington getting ready for the kick. Up to the right side. And this is going to be not too bad a field position.
This will be the best starting position on the 3 drives. We have 5:37 left in the first. Lexington up 10-0. 1st and 10 for Sidney. So far, Chance England has 18 yards. Logan Lewis with 3 yards. Deaver with -3. And Lane Harvey -3. And Sidney's yet to attempt a pass early on.
Strong right in the formation with Deaver and Conger to the right. Straight ahead for Harvey. Quarterback sneak. Nice push from the line. Gain of about 3, maybe 4 yards for the Raiders. Trying to test the middle a little bit. Take advantage of the front that they're given right now. Quick huddle here for the Raiders as they're back over the ball. Rosenbaum again split to the left. Motion across.
I think it's a false start on the left guard for Sidney.
A little bit of movement appears to be on the play.
If this is on Sidney, this is the 3rd penalty against Sidney. Lexington does not have a penalty yet. And it is a false start. So Sidney, again, they're really kicking themselves in the foot right now in the first quarter here.
Definitely going to need to clean some things up.
I know when we're on the basketball court, this is kind of the time when we're having moments like this is when I say somebody needs to make a play, spark us, give us some sort of momentum here. And I think we need to do that on the football field. Chance England on the side. He's got some running room. Good pursuit by Lexington. And Chance will get a few, but not many. There is a late flag. Hard to see from our angle. It'll be interesting if there's possible face mask or maybe a late hit.
Take a chance here to sort things out. Our head official trying to get the spot here. Going to talk to his people. Clock is running. Motion across with Deaver.
Some running room.
Nice.
He's down the sideline. One man to beat. Nice
and
run.
A great gain. He's going to go out at about the 32-yard line. A lot of times we see Sidney going against the grain or against the motion as misdirection. This time, Deaver comes in motion across the left side, trying to draw somebody outside. Logan Lewis able to dip in underneath of that for a great game for the Raiders.
I think last week we only saw Logan maybe run to the outside 1 or 2 times, so it's kind of nice to see him run there.
Toss to England around the right side. Going to try to get around the edge again. Does get a little room as he's able to evade one tackler. Ball is going to be, what, the 22?
So Sidney right now goes left one play, go right the next play, spread out that Lexington defense, make sure they can cover both sides of the field. And now Sidney's at the 25-yard line.
Quick huddle. England again in motion. Gives to Lewis through the middle. Nice gain. Somebody be able to get a little bit of a shoestring tackle there on him.
This is going to be close to a first down. So Logan Lewis with a 38-yard run, Chance England with a 7-yard run, and 5 more yards for Sidney. We got a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Definitely trying to keep things moving. Gives to Lewis again inside, but a little bit too much penetration that time by the Minutemen. Number 68 looks to be Louis Nunez.
So this is exactly the drive that Sidney needed here. Now, obviously, the drive's not over, and we need to capitalize on some points, but Sidney needed to respond after 2 3-and-outs.
If nothing else, we've definitely changed the tables on. Here we go. Snap is around right. Oh, he manages to get away. Nice little spin move by England. Able to keep the play alive, keep the play moving.
We talked about one of Chance England's strengths last week is he can get yards after contact. And right there, looked to be wrapped up with a minimal gain, spun out of it. Impressive play. Broke at least 2 tackles on ways to another nice gain for Sidney.
Took what looked to be a potential loss, turns it in a nice play. Raiders again back over the ball. Harvey under center. England in motion. Gives to Lewis through the middle. Weaving his way, and he's in for the touchdown.
great second or third possession here for Sidney.
Sidney finally getting on the board here at the end of the first quarter.
10-6. I'd put all my money in the bank that we are going to go for 2 here.
Sidney definitely going to look to go for 2 points here, has been the tradition.
So the score here with 3:29 left in the first quarter.
Wind picking back up, a little bit more snow in the air. Anglin in motion. Pitch is to him around the right side, trying to dip in underneath. And it looks like he's going to be just a little bit short on the...
So great response. We said the need to respond after allowing 2 straight scores. We come down the field. A nice run by Logan to kind of make that play. We said we need to make a play. Somebody's got to fire up the team, get some momentum going.
Definitely.
He makes a big run. Chance capitalizes with some yards after contact, get in the end zone, and it's now a 1-possession game, a 4-point game. So now we'll be interested to see if that momentum and that confidence from the offense goes to the defense, as Sidney's still looking to stop Lexington for the first time today.
And that's definitely what you're hoping for, things to transfer over to the other side of the ball. So we're going to be kicking off here from the 40-yard line. Raiders will be kicking into the wind. Be interesting to see if we try one of the squib kicks, the short kicks that we've seen throughout the first half of the season. We did see one long kick, one deep kick last year by Jake Heron, actually.
Yeah. Onside kick.
Onside kick, Lucas Rosenbaum. Ball still loose. I think it's going to be covered by the Minutemen.
So believe it or not, even with this nice field position, they're going to start at the 41 on their side of the ball for Lexington. This is actually the furthest they've been from Sidney territory in 3 possessions now to start.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so, but this has actually been the best field position Sidney's had starting out on defense so far this game. Ball getting spotted on the left hash for the Minutemen.
Ansbach with a nice start today. He has 4 carries, already has 36 yards with a touchdown.
Trips right for the Minutemen. Option to the right. Going to pitch. And it's going to be a gain of about 3-4 yards for the Minutemen. Eric Lemus, senior for the Minutemen on the carry. Again, Lexington over the football. Twins left. Drops back to pass. Looks to be a bubble screen on the left side. Is completed. Going to be a nice pickup for the Minutemen.
And I believe he's going to get the first down.
Yes, he is.
And with that onside kick, it appeared that they were going to start at their own about 41-yard line, but the ball must have been touched in Sidney territory, as they actually started in Sidney territory again at our 48. So Lexington has yet to have a play on their side of the field every time it's been on Sidney. That's a tough first quarter to start with in that situation.
Definitely. Trips right for the Minutemen. Lemus the lone setback. Bubble screen to the right. Same play the other side. Completed. Jurgensen.
And another first down.
Jurgensen, Deaver, and Anglin on the play. But basically the same type of play we saw, just on the other side of the field. Ball completed to...
So right now, it looks like Lexington, for the 3rd time today, has caused Sidney to jump.
All right, here we go now.
Oh, false start on Lexington. I apologize on that. So here we go. 2nd down for the Minutemen. Getting the play call from the sideline. We're having some technical difficulties. Roger is not taking a break in the game. He's just waited for his mic to return. And this happens. We're in game number 2 here. Shotgun set. 2 receivers on both sides. Lemus blocking. Oh, he pops out for a bubble pass. incomplete. And we might have a late hit on the quarterback by Jake Herron. I was just going to say that was the first incomplete pass of the game, but unfortunately that will not count as an attempt, as I believe it will be a personal foul. And that's big because that was second down, would have been third down and 7 or 6, and instead they're going to have a first down and they continue to march. So the pressure's been on this Sidney defense. Those struggles that Lexington had last week in the tough conditions hanging onto the ball that Alliance also had in that game. I don't want to make it sound like it was just Lexington. They combined for 22 fumbles in the game. We did see one fumble actually that Lexington recovered, but other than that, they've been pretty clean, pretty crisp. We haven't had too many sloppy plays for Lexington. Another gun set, rolls to the right, looks like a keeper. Nice pursuit by the defense, and he's going to be tackled.
Red Raiders making a nice stop there on the play.
Well, we thought we had Roger back. I guess we don't. Brian rolls with the defense. Good defensive play. This brings up a second down. So I apologize. You guys have to hear my voice way more than you were probably anticipating at this point. We'll get Roger back here shortly. Trips on the left. One receiver on the right. Lemus, the fullback, blocking in his shotgun set. Throwing to the left. Wide open man. Overthrown. And if that would have been caught, first down potential, possibly touchdown potential.
Lexington going to regroup here. Twin receivers, both sides of the formation. Lemus the lone setback. Passing again, little crossing route.
He's open.
Complete for Lexington. Angling in on the tackle.
And again, inside the goal line, inside the 5. A lot of pressure on the defense. And I'll tell you what, Lexington really throws the ball all over the place, left and right. They run to the outsides, run to the insides. They spread the field just like Sidney wants to do, but they do it with more air than Sidney does.
They're definitely spreading the field, albeit through the passing game.
So shotgun even inside the 5.
Spread formation again. Going to check with the sideline, see if they want to call a different play.
And he's running. He's going to be tackled for a loss. Jake Herron on the play. Nice defense there.
Quarterback follow for the Raiders. Or not for the Raiders, for the Minutemen.
Timeout on the field here. We are we are not tied. Lexington's up 10-6. Late first quarter. The weather's cold, but you know what? It's a pretty dry day right now. It wasn't dry earlier today. There's some flurries floating around, but not really rain or any of those conditions that we had before. A big part in the game, Sidney, that you can, if not get a turnover, that you at least force them to kick a field goal. You want to limit the amount of touchdowns that Lexington scores. Lexington's off to a hot start. Lexington earlier this year against Gearing actually started up 20-0, and the game ended up being a very close game at the end.
Do you want to unplug it and try to reconnect it?
In schedule, they lost to Scottsbluff the first game of the year 7-15. They lost to York 0-29. Then they won 2 games in a row, beating Gearing 23-20 and Northwest 23-20 before losing last week 13-8 against Alliance.
Lexington back over the football. Drops back to pass.
So sorry for kind of our pauses. We're testing the mic, seeing if we can get Roger's mic to work. So here we are, big possession inside the Sidney goal line, 10-6, Lexington with the lead. Sidney needs a stop here on defense, need to force a field goal. Shotgun set. A lot of guys.
Quick pitch, tossed around the right side.
Good pursuit by the defense.
By the Red Raiders.
And he's back to the 8-yard line.
Dominic Byer in on the play there for the Red Raiders.
Great defense. That was a big play.
Tyler Winholtz also able to come up and get involved. We're going to have another timeout here. And obviously this is a place where I think I'm sorry.
And that because they're thinking with field position, if they score, they're thinking, hey, we want to kick into the wind or with the wind at our backs. We don't want to kick against it. So they're going to attempt the field goal here. This won't be a very long field goal, and based just on the last one, if we have a good snap, I think there's a good chance this is going to go in. Very nice kick last time, right through the middle with plenty of distance from 37 yards. He's now lining up for what looks like it'll be roughly a 26, 25-yarder. And the field goal's right down the middle with plenty of room again for a Yela. Nice kick. And that gets the score to 13-6. And the nice thing about, if you want to take one thing away from the Sidney defense, is they did at least get a goal line stop. And we are forcing the field goal, which means it's still a one-possession game. 13-6.
One possession game, only a 7-point difference, as you mentioned.
And Sidney, even though they always go for 2, when you're down by 7, you can always score 8 points down. So we're getting late here in the first quarter.
No snow at the moment. Does look like the wind has gone down here momentarily. End of the first quarter.
Start of the second quarter now.
Give me a scoreboard. Camera 3 scoreboard.
13-6, start of the second quarter. So Lexington used their timeout to kick with the wind. They will kick into the wind, so let's see how Sidney does this quarter with the wind at their back. The field position you would think can only be better than the first quarter, where it was dominated by Lexington, field position-wise. Little squib kick this time to start instead of trying for a big kick. Big pile inside the 20. So again, Lexington, even into the wind, they still are going to force Sidney way back inside the 20. So 1st and 10 for Sidney at about the 18-yard line.
Red Raiders over the football. Harvey under center.
Hand off to Logan Lewis. He's still on his feet. Tough run by Logan for 10 yards. This will be near the first down marker. Impressive run.
5 to 30-yard line for the Red Raiders.
Logan has 6 carries so far. Chance Anglin has 5 carries, combined for 11 carries for the two. Deaver with 1 carry. Lane Harvey with 2 carries.
And he did, in fact, get the first down on that play.
A bunt.
Under center.
And this time contained well for either no gain or possibly 1 yard on the play.
You could just pass it back and forth, too.
I need, well, for right now, I can't, but I need to just stop the stream and start it. It won't affect on YouTube too much.
All right, we're going to try a little technology gadget of our own. We're going to hand this back and forth so you don't have to listen to me the whole time, and Roger can give us some commentary.
Well, I'm pretty sure, Eric, that a lot of people were just fine with the way things were going. Okay.
This is going to bring up a 3rd and 10, so 3rd and long opportunity. Sidney hasn't passed this game yet. They average about 9 pass attempts a game, completing 3 or 4 of them. So we'll see what we do here. We do have Logan, or it looks like possibly Lucas on the outside.
Motion with Anglin, but again, possibly somebody not quite set on the line for the Red Raiders. No, it looks maybe on the defense.
Yeah, I think this time Sidney gave a little medicine to Lexington that Lexington was giving to Sidney earlier and got Lexington to jump offside. So this now makes it a 3rd and 5, much more manageable 3rd down here.
Definitely a lot better situation for the Red Raiders. Rosenbaum split to the right. Quick snap. It's going to be Lewis trying to make the left side. Nice defense again for the Minutemen, though. He's going to be coming up a little bit short. Bringing up, is it 4th down here for the Raiders?
4th and about 3. I'll tell you what, so far, I know it's early in this game. We're early in the first half. I've been very impressed with Lexington defense. I really thought we were going to have a big running day for Sidney, and it's early. I mean, it definitely could still happen. But I've been very impressed with Lexington's defense early on in this game.
Now let's see if actually Sidney decides to go for it. No, they are going to shift into punt formation. Heron splitting out wide for the Raiders. Harvey with the kick. Nice booming kicks. Going to get a nice roll for the Red Raiders. Going to make it down to about the 20-yard line.
Huge kick for Lane. His last kick was 2 yards. The previous kick was about 12 yards. Now he pounds one down all the way near the 20-yard line of Lexington, and this will be easily the worst starting field position for Lexington and the best defensive position for Sidney today. Lexington's 3 for 3 on possessions of scoring. Here's their 4th time. Let's see what happens this time for Sidney.
Lexington over the ball here quick. And although we may not know what we're doing here in the booth, you can send comments and questions to us via Twitter, sending your tweet to @SydneyRaiders. We do have those here in the booth, and we'll try to answer anything that you do send to us. You can also, if you're not a Twitter fan, you can also send us an email to srtv@sydneyraiders.org.
The way this game's going, Ansbach, we're going to hear his name a lot. He just ran for 18 yards, broke 3 or 4 tackles on the play, and he's had an incredible day with 1 touchdown already.
Trips left for the Minutemen. Trying the option to the left side. Makes the pitch. Lemus with some running room. Gets away from one. Gets away from another. Nice pickup. Going to be a 1st down. Putting him into Red Raider territory on about the 45-yard line.
Lemus had been contained for the most part. I was just about to say you want to get the ball out of Ansbach's hands as much as possible the way this game had gone. Lemus's longest carry was 4 yards before that carry, and he just busted off a 15-yard run. So back-to-back 1st down runs combined for 33 yards on 2 plays.
Timeout here on the field as we get ready to resume action at Weymouth Field, Sidney, Nebraska. Temperature in the low 30s here this evening. We did have an earlier kickoff, mostly to accommodate our team from the east. We try to get people back home a little bit earlier when we can. Eckert in the huddle, trying to get things sorted out for the Raiders. Definitely needing to come up and make a stop as field position is now favorable again for the Minutemen.
Well, let's see if our headphones work, if we can get dual action here. 1st and 10 for Lexington. As you can tell, they're in the shotgun again.
Lemus split out, or Lemus on the left side of Ansbach. Straight ahead, going to follow his runner.
Another big run of 6 yards.
All right, Lexington looking to the sideline. Everybody gets the play. Everybody's checking their wristbands. Twins left, Lemus to the right. Shotgun formation, ball is snapped. Quick give, no. Tackle on the play. Number 54, Jake Sager for the Raiders, was in on the tackle. Ansbach keeping the ball that time.
Bring up 3rd down here.
Minutemen trying to go to work quickly here. Spread formation. Rolling to his right, looking for someone. Out to the right flats. Play pretty well defended. Lucas Rosenbaum out there on the coverage.
This will be the fourth down for Lexington today. 4th and about 4 here in the 2nd quarter. Inside Sidney territory, even though they have a great field goal kicker, I don't think he's going to try a 60-yarder here. It does appear they'll punt.
Does look like Lexington is going to try and play the field position game, which has been favorable for them so far here during the contest. Snap is back. Kick is away. Quick kick. Favorable roll for the Minutemen. Ball's going to be down on about the 20-yard line. So the Raiders a little bit farther back, but not an impossible task here. They do have the wind at their back here for the remainder of the half. First down and 10 for the Raiders on the 20-yard line.
Big defensive stop for Sidney. That's the first time Lexington has not scored. So even though they did get some field, they got a couple first downs, marched down the field, got Sidney territory, they still had to punt, which is what the goal is for the Sidney defense.
Rosenbaum split to the right. Motion across with Anglin. Give is to Anglin. Jet fly around the left-hand side. Does evade one tackler. Manages to get inside another. And a nice gain for the Red Raiders. He's going to get all the way up to about the 45-yard line.
Big run. Chance has had a couple nice runs today. And again, if you're just getting one arm on him, you're not going to bring him down. You need one or two guys wrapping him to be able to contain him.
Nice run for Chance.
Red Raiders again quickly to come over the ball.
First and 10.
First and 10.
Conger and
Deaver to the right.
Deaver in motion across.
Give us to Lewis through the middle. No.
Give was around the left side.
We have a flag.
We do have a flag on the play, so we'll take a moment to sort this out and see what it was. Possibly maybe a holding here on Sidney. Official's going to talk it over here a minute. Decide where we need to spot the ball. Red Raiders looking to find their rhythm, trying to get something going, needing to establish any type of momentum at this point.
Big holding call here. This will bring up a long down and distance.
Sidney trailing Lexington
6 to 13, or no, 6 to 13 here at the moment. Harvey back under center. Deaver in motion across. Anglin around, counters to the right side. Able to get a few yards, make a little bit something happen on the play. Kind of feel like he was just maybe one potential block away from really springing something there.
He was close, and as I looked through those newspaper articles on Lexington, they've given up quite a few big plays of 80 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, so big chunk of plays, and we know that Logan and Chance at any moment can break a long one.
Anglin in motion. Harvey has the ball. Down the left side. Rosenbaum unable to find the pass. All alone streaking down the left side. We have seen this before. Rosenbaum definitely their go-to receiver in these situations. Somebody that they trust a lot. Just one of those where he was looking to the inside, ball thrown maybe a little wide to the outside, unable to connect on the play.
I like the play call. Fake handoff, roll left. He actually rolled against his throwing motion. Lucas beat his defender. The throw was just a little off target, and unfortunately for Sidney, they could not catch that. If they would have, it would have been a touchdown.
Motion across to the right. Harvey again with the ball, scrambling now, and just needing to throw the ball away as he was under pressure from the Minuteman defense. He had Anglin out to the right side, but just not a lot going there. Just too much pressure by the Lexington defense.
Good penetration by Lexington's defense, and I think they saw that from the last play they had a man open downfield, so they wanted to try a similar play again, but this time Lexington got there and Lane didn't have a chance to find a receiver with this limited amount of time with a good pass rush.
Ball on about the 35-yard line for the Raiders. Bunch formation, tight formation. Now they're going to shift. They do shift into punt formation. Kick is away. Nice kick for Harvey. Not much of a roll, though. Ball's going to be on about the 32-yard line.
Lane definitely must be a lot more comfortable punting with the wind at his back. Those are two good punts we've now had in the second quarter here with the wind at his back. So this is now another possession for Lexington. Sidney's trailing by 7. Another stop would be nice, just like last possession here.
Definitely not a time where anybody needs to panic at this moment. Things still definitely well under control. Snap. Give us to Lemus straight ahead. Sidney defense stiffening.
Good interior defense. He stopped for a short gain. This will bring him second down. So good start on the first play here for Sidney. Now we'll see what Lexington does here in the second. We're down to 6:15 remaining in the second quarter. Second and 10.
Spread formation again. Let's see if we see any little bubble screen. Ansbach rolling to his right, looking to his right.
Incomplete passes will bring up third and 10. So good start for the Sidney defense on the first two plays of this possession. Sidney's still looking for their first 3 and out defensively. And there's a good opportunity for that here. I would assume Lexington will try to pass. They've been a pretty potent passing attack. And Sidney's kind of buckled down here the last drive and a half now. Big third down, third and 10.
Last pass intended for Patrick Spicer, a 5'9", 160-pound senior for the Minutemen. Lexington receives the play, going to have trips to the right. They do like the bubble screen out of this formation. No, it's just going to be a simple quarterback follow.
So I was wrong on the play call, but either regardless did not get the first down. Great job by Sidney. As the running back to the 2-yard carry. This is going to be fourth and 8. Sidney's going to get the ball back here with a chance to score and tie this game up or take the lead.
Lexington will be punting into the wind this time. We'll see how that affects them. Nobody back deep for the Raiders. And the ball's going to roll to about the 40-yard line. So, as you said, nice defensive stand by the Raiders. Not giving up a lot. Setting up pretty favorable field position right now for Sidney. Going to be first and 10 on their 40-yard line. Opportunity here to try and get something going.
That penalty on the last drive kind of stalled the drive, but previously, before that penalty, we saw Chance with a nice run, the possession before Sidney scored. I think momentum is on Sidney's side on the offensive side of the football field.
Strong right, Deaver in motion, deep across the formation. Give us to Lewis on the left side. Only going to be a couple yards on that, though. And definitely, that's one of those plays where it might not work one time, it might not work another, but you have to keep kind of going back to it because you never know when Logan Lewis is going to break a big one, as we saw earlier.
Well, I know last week against Sidney versus McCook. McCook kept running up the middle, and Sidney stopped him, and then all of a sudden they had a 40-yard gain, and that kind of changed the tide of the offense. Chance on the outside gets a few before slipping on the wet grass here.
Conditions have worsened here again a little bit, as you can see, hopefully, that the wind has picked up again. We do have some snow. Definitely something here to contend with during the game. Sidney back over the football. Harvey under center.
3rd and 5. Big third down chance here. We're not quite to midfield.
Give us the chance around the left side. Has some people in front of him. Able to get a little bit of the corner? Yes. He is going to get across, get a first down. And he's going to be at about the 44-yard line.
Nice run for Chance, 10-yard run, just what the doctor ordered on 3rd and 5 for Sidney. So now it's the 45-yard line here of Lexington, and Sidney's starting to get that offense rolling. I've really thought the last 3 possessions now, the running game's looking good. Sidney's momentum and confidence seem to be in our favor. You can see the wind, and you can see the flurries here at the Sidney's back.
Motion across, give us to Lewis in the middle of the field. Gain of a few yards, gain of a couple yards. Going to bring up 2nd and long for the Raiders. Sidney trying to put something together here before we get to halftime. We've got strong right formation. Rosenbaum to the left. Motion across. Give is to Anglin. Evades one tackler. Evades another. Just not quite able to make the corner here. Short gain on the play of about a yard. Going to bring up about 3rd and 7 for the Red Raiders. Ball's going to be spotted on the right hash here.
As you can tell by watching Sidney this year, they're not afraid to run Logan and Chance. They've combined for 19 carries already in this game, and I think that number is just going to continue to grow, and they might get 40-plus carries tonight.
Anglin in motion again. Oh, Harvey on the misdirection. A little bit of contact, loses the football. He is able to cover it, avoid the turnover. But it is going to create a fourth and about 9 for the Red Raiders. Field position, though, pretty favorable. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sidney go for it here on 4th down.
I was thinking the same thing. Wind at your back, late second quarter. It'll be interesting also, though, if possibly they think, hey, let's punt this ball away, go into halftime in our position since we're getting late second quarter here. And he does appear to be thinking, hey, let's kick with the wind. We've had 3 good kicks.
Under 3 minutes now. Blocked punt! The punt is blocked by the man. When he goes to pick up the ball, is able to recover it. Number 33, Michael Deaver, able to come back and make the tackle for the Raiders, avoiding a potential disaster with a score.
Impressive play for Lexington. Gets through the line, good block, not only to have the awareness to get his hands out to block the ball, but then to find the ball, pick it up. 2 or 3 guys went downfield. Lane Harvey got blocked by 2 guys. Great job of just awareness by the whole defense of Lexington after the block.
The old scoop and score drill that every team practices. Unfortunately, Sidney is on the wrong end of it this one. Ansbach in the shotgun. Rolling to his right, optioning to the right. Trying to make the sideline. Does make the corner. Going to be a big gain, and he is going to be in for the score. So, option to the right side. Ansbach pitching it out to Lemus. Making the corner. Going to make the score right now. 19 for Lexington, 6 Sidney.
It's amazing at sports at all level. If you get one really big play on one side of the ball and the other team takes over, it seems like a big play usually follows. And that big defensive play with a block field goal or block punt, the very next play, a long run down the right sideline for a touchdown.
Lexington setting up for the point after attempt. 75-year kicker.
Beautiful kick. You can see why this guy's made several field goals this year and has been a big impact player for their offense.
Not too often you see a big body like that lining up back in the backfield for a team to attempt a kick or anything else for that matter. But definitely they found somebody that they trust and are going to give him the opportunity to make the kicks. There's the rest of our crew out here at Weymouth Field tonight up in the press box. As always, we have KSID doing the game on radio. We have our announcers. Ralph Kastner always willing to lend a hand out here and help support the Red Raiders in their contests.
The Kastners are a great family, and Kim and Ralph do so much for the community, and Kim's constantly in the high school interacting with students and doing projects for the school. So they're a great family that really provides for the Sidney community, giving back.
Nice to have them with us and a part of the school. Lexington getting ready to kick off. Going to have to respot the ball here. See if we don't have somebody just come and hang on to it.
So 2:26. So if Roger, if you're the offensive coordinator for Sidney here, what are you thinking? We're down by 2 touchdowns. We're down 14 points, 26. There's only 2.5 minutes left. We have the wind at our back. What are you thinking this possession on offense?
Low line driving kick. Sidney's going to be setting up shop down. Going to bring up 2nd and long. Wind continued to driving. Deaver and Conger out to the right. Lucas Rosenbaum out to the left. Give us to Lewis. Around the right side. Met quickly by a host of defenders. So at this point, Sidney taking a little bit of time off the clock. Going to bring up a 3rd and long. Here's a time now where we see what's going to happen here.
Big 3rd down here, 3rd and long. Sidney does not want Lexington to get the ball to have another opportunity to score in this second quarter here. Hand off to Logan up the middle.
Got to be a 1st down for the Red Raiders. Setting up quickly here over the ball, trying to take advantage of the time left here in the second quarter. Lane with the ball rolling to his right, looking, nothing there. Is going to tuck. Try to make it around the side, maybe a gain of a couple yards. Not much there.
Second down here, second and long for Sidney.
Sidney trying to get under the ball here quickly. Harvey back to throw. Looks left, looks right. Pressure. Nothing going there on the right side. Ball's going to be incomplete. Possible flag here on the play, though.
Running low in the second quarter. This will be an interesting call. If it's pass interference on the defense, this will give Sidney some more life, a first down. We're under 50 seconds left in the second quarter, so time is definitely a factor now on this drive. Let's see what the penalty is.
Changing views for you a little bit here on the production. Looked to be interference on the play call, so it's going to be first down for the Raiders. Harvey, no, give us to Anglin, trying the left side. Able to avoid one defender.
35 seconds remaining. Sidney inside the 45-yard line. First, it's going to be second down. So strategy definitely coming into play here.
There you go, perfect. Okay, you're back on camera 2.
Sidney really hoping to try to get an opportunity to score. We haven't seen Sidney attempt a field goal or an extra point, so most likely they're going to have to try to get in the end zone here to put points on the board before this first half would end.
Kicking not definitely one of the strong points of the Sidney Red Raider team this year. We're going to get a quick huddle here. Try to see what we can come up with. We do still have strong winds coming out of the north-northwest. Temperature in the low 30s, as I stated at the beginning of the game.
Sidney inside the 40-yard line now. Second down with only 35 seconds remaining.
I'd look for Harvey to roll out again. Strong right formation. Harvey looking right. Throwing down through the middle. Has a man just outside of his reach a little bit. Pass intended, I believe, for Nick Conger. Looked like he was open there for a second, but Harvey just not quite able to connect with him on the pass. Clock will stop on the incompletion. Red Raiders back over the ball. Harvey under center. Strong right formation. And he's going to go straight ahead. That was just simply to get the first down for the Raiders. However, as soon as, do we have a timeout? We do have a timeout. Red Raider timeout on the play. So Sidney taking advantage of the quarterback sneak to get the first down, put themselves in a favorable position here for the last 30 seconds.
26 seconds left in the second quarter. Sidney's gotten into the 28-yard line of Lexington, first and 10. So, Roger, what kind of play do you think you'd go for? Would you do play action here? Just straight drop back pass? You start in a shotgun? What would you do in this situation?
Well, they have a variety of things at their disposal. They do have some crossing routes that they like to run. They have another play called Missouri, which basically is going to bring a man across and put three receivers in a flood route type of pattern. But if I'm Sidney, I also have to be thinking or asking myself, what kind of pressure do I expect to see from the Lexington defense? You would have to think that they're possibly going to try and rush somebody on this. So I would like to see Lane roll out possibly, try to give him a little space, give him a little bit better vision on the play. Harvey under center, Deaver in motion across to the left, and they draw Lexington off on the hard count. We've seen that a few times already tonight for both teams, this time working in Sidney's favor. So it's going to be a quick, easy pickup of 5 yards.
Down to the 23-yard line here, you'd think you're either throwing in the end zone or by the sideline to be able to get out of bounds and stop the clock.
Harvey drops straight back, looks to his right, looks left, avoiding one defender. Going to have to tuck and run, and he's diving for the sideline to try and get out of bounds. He does make the sideline, so that will stop the clock. Ball getting spotted again on the left hash.
19 seconds, 2nd and 4 from the 22.
Strong right formation for the Raiders. Harvey straight back. Looking left. Going to dump it off to Lewis on the left side, but sniffed out. Sniffed out by the Minutemen.
Didn't get out of bounds either, so that clock is running right now.
Number
5 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Oh, false start.
Brandon Arajo sniffing out that last play on the tackle to Lewis. 2 seconds left here in the second quarter.
Ball will be marked at the 27-yard line. I know in college they have a rule, if you have a penalty late in the quarter, it's a 10-second runoff. But high school has yet to do that. They will start the clock here. 2 seconds.
Sidney able to get the ball off. Harvey straight back, being pursued. Going to heave it over to the right side. And ball is knocked down by a Lexington defender. So that's going to bring us to halftime here at Weymouth Field with Lexington leading 20, Sidney 6.
Very good half for Lexington. I'm not sure maybe what the expectations for them coming in was, but I think we thought it was going to be a competitive game, and they jumped out to an early lead, scoring on their first 3 possessions, tacking on another one to get a 2-possession score. Sidney definitely not out of it, but Lexington controlled the first half, definitely won the field position battle. Turnovers have been clean on both sides, neither team with a turnover, but the big block punt by Lexington set up that last touchdown to make it from a 1-possession game to a 2-possession game. Great first half by Lexington. Sidney's really going to need to make some adjustments at halftime and get the guys fired up, and they're going to have to get some confidence, get some momentum, make a couple big plays early in the third quarter, and try to swing things in their favor.
Yes, definitely Sidney is not out of it by any means. They just need to take a little bit of time, regroup here, try to discuss what types of things have been working for them, what types of things have been going well. We have at times seen Anglin able to make the corner, able to make the outside. We have seen Logan Lewis on the veer play at times with some good carries, some good positive yards. Deaver, again, only with a couple of carries in the game. I don't believe Sidney connected on any passes there in the first half. They did have a couple of nice attempts. We did have, Rosenbaum on the one nice play deep that just the pass was a little bit wide. Conger again on another nice crossing play down through the seam. Just wasn't able to find him on that. So, like you said, Sidney's going to have to do a little bit of work here, do a little bit of talk, sort things out, and try to make sure that they have a plan to come here and attack the second half. Now, the last 2 weeks for Sidney, Sidney's been playing probably possibly the two biggest names on their schedule. They went and visited Aurora, number 2 team in the state at the time, perennial power, and had gone down there and actually played a quite physical game. Were tied at halftime, I believe. Well, they jumped out early to the 12-0 lead. We're tied at 12s. Even into the third quarter, we're at 12s for a while. And then it was a switch of fortunes as Aurora had the turnovers in the first half of the game. And then in the second half, it swung the other way with Sidney having the turnovers. Sidney losing that game and then coming back and following that with a game here at Weymouth Field with McCook. Like we said earlier in the broadcast, a very competitive game. Pretty much going toe-to-toe with McCook for the entire contest. Again, McCook, another strong team here in Class B. And you almost have to wonder if possibly 2 tough contests like that against 2 marquee opponents, if maybe Sidney didn't come in and take Lexington just a little bit too lightly, looking at them as a 2 and 3 team, possibly a softer opponent. But any thoughts of that should have been washed away, as Lexington has definitely come to play here in the first half, leading 20-6.
It's always amazing, too. You kind of referred to it as Sidney had a couple opportunities, long passes downfield. Sidney catches either one of those passes. It's a touchdown. If Sidney's able to get the punt off without it being blocked, all of a sudden Sidney might be up 14-13 or might be trailing 13-12. But it's amazing how one or two type of plays can make such a big impact on the game. Looking at some first half stats here, Logan Lewis with 12 carries, he has 78 yards and 1 touchdown run. Chance England with 10 carries and 81 yards for him. So that's combined 22 carries for the two players and 159 yards. So a lot of yards for them. They're on pace for over 300 yards. How do you now get those yards to result in touchdowns? So we were able to get some yards. I mean, Chance is averaging 8 yards a carry. Logan's averaging nearly 7 yards a carry, a little over 6 yards a carry. What does Sidney need to do this second half to be able to get points in the end zone? Because the last time we just had 6 points in the first half.
I think a lot of it comes down to just playing better assignment football. We've seen a number of plays where the running back is possibly just ready to make the corner, and a lot of times I really feel like Sidney's just one block away. So at this point, a lot of it is just cleaning up what we're doing. I think there's a good plan in place, but it's a matter of just executing that plan. Some of it comes down to making sure guys are in the right place, they know their assignments, and not only that, but then making sure that they carry out those assignments, and you're always telling guys that, hey, just give me one more second. Give me one more second on that block, and I can make the corner. And in this type of offense, that's huge. I mean, that is really big. So you're asking a lot of your offensive linemen, and I think they're going to have to ask more of their offensive linemen as they come back here in the second half of play. We don't have any other scores for you right now at the moment. But if anybody has anything like that, like I said before, you can send us tweets through Twitter. You can reach us at Sidney Raiders. Send us anything that you might have, questions or comments about the game, and we'll try to address those as best we can. And you can also reach us through email, srtv@raidermail.org. That's srtv@raidermail.org. A lot of games here in the Panhandle affected by the weather. A lot of games, or a lot of teams moving their games to Monday evening. We had a huge storm, for anybody that's not aware, coming down from South Dakota. And we seem to be just on the edge of it, as with a lot of storms, whether they're from the Colorado Front Range or down south from South Dakota. So while we are expected to get about anywhere from 3 to 7 inches of snow here out of this storm, it pretty much there was a line of a front where from Harrison to Bridgeport, they were expecting to get about twice that just to the north of us. So Harrison and Minutair game was canceled early on this morning. Bridgeport initially was going to try and play their game at 5. That has since been moved to Monday as well. Like I said, a lot of the Class B teams here in the Panhandle, all Class B games still on, with the main reason being they are on the road. We can take a look at that and show you where some people are at and what we have going on.
Yeah, Alliance tonight, they're playing at 4-1 McCook. That's actually Sidney's next opponent is at Alliance next week, who's currently 3-2. Gearing, who is currently 2-3, they play at 0-4 Hastings, and Scotts Bluff, who is 3-2, plays at 1-4 Grand Island Northwest. I think what's interesting looking at the district with Sidney, with Alliance, with Gearing, and with Scotts Bluff is all these teams have very similar records. Everyone's record coming into today was either 3-2 or 2-3. I think just from last year's experience, Scotts Bluff probably coming into the year, you have to think they were a heavy favorite in the district. Sidney's off to a nice start this year. Well, I'll be interested to see how the second half goes, some of the adjustments made. But the next 3 weeks are going to be really important for Sidney as they play at Alliance, at Gearing, and then home against Scotts Bluff. All games which I feel like Sidney can compete in and have a chance to win any of those next 3 games.
Yeah, it definitely looked to be a situation where the district was maybe a little bit more wide open here before the season. Scotts Bluff has shown to be a very physical team, as always. I know I was talking to Coach Gross, the head coach at McCook here last week, and also assistant coach John Gum. They both said that Scotts Bluff was a very physical team, and they actually both felt that game could have gone either way. So Scotts Bluff coming out on the short end of that was a score of 13-8. So definitely some big challenges, not only here tonight for the Red Raiders, but ahead as we move into district play. Sidney will be moving into district play, starting with Alliance at Alliance next week. Alliance, as you said, 3-2 on the season. They opened the season with a win over Shadron, and that's actually a very big rivalry game if you talk to both teams. That is one that they both tend to fight tooth and nail. Shadron in Class C1. However, that's one that typically can go either way, and it was, in fact, just that with Alliance winning the game 21-20. Alliance followed that with a trip to Aurora, again running into a tough Husky team, losing that game 34-13. And as noted from watching the stream from the Aurora Alliance game, Aurora was suiting up about 64 players for varsity, and I believe they said Alliance was coming into it 34. So, again, football is a numbers game, and especially in Class B, there is such a huge disparity between the top Class B teams and the bottom Class B teams, which right now we are in the bottom of Class B as far as classification goes. But Alliance, our opponent this next week, then traveled to Hastings, where they were able to win 22-6, I believe. And it looks like then they followed that with a loss to Holdridge, 22-7. And last week, like you said, here against Lexington, 13-8. So third-party comparisons are tough. They're hard. You know, you look at a game where obviously we're very familiar with Alliance. We have a long history with them. You look at that as being a low-scoring game, low-scoring affair, and then yet here we have Lexington tonight, who's able to come out and, like you said, kind of dominated the first half a little bit, showed the most movement with their offense, putting points on the board. So going to be interesting to see how Sidney regroups.
Well, Lexington's most points they've scored so far this year is 23 points, and they've done that twice, and so they already have 20 tonight. So I'll be interested in the second half, how that unfolds. You kind of hit on this earlier with Scotts Bluff. I think right now they might be the most kind of the team with the most momentum in the district. Last week, a score that jumped out to me is when we were doing the booth and in the crazy conditions last week with McCook here, is they lost 28-21 to a very, very good Aurora team, and that game was tied 21 late in the second half before Aurora ended up escaping with the win. But Scotts Bluff, they're a big enrollment school. They're 2 to 2.5 times bigger than Sidney is here, and you kind of hit on it. We're the bottom third or the bottom three teams of enrollment, and that makes it tough with depth. And when Sidney played Aurora and they played McCook, they hung around for a while, and then it was just the lack of guys that can fill in both sides of the positions, depth-wise, to compete. And so now we'll see how that happens, because in the first half of the last 2 weeks, Sidney's played very well. In the second half, kind of got worn down a little bit against a team that had more depth. I don't want to say that Lexington has more depth than Sidney, because I don't necessarily think that's true. But Sidney's has gotten worn down the past couple games. Let's see what happens this second half tonight, because a lot of the guys that play on offense, they play on defense too, and that takes a toll throughout a game, throughout a season, when you're playing so many plays and being hit so many times.
And I think as much as anything, too, is confidence. You have to try to keep the guys' heads up. Try to let them know that, hey, we're still in this thing. We still got to keep fighting. We still got a lot to fight for. Running through the Class B teams and the current playoff points. The current playoff points, again, that is how we are going to be seeded into districts, with district winners advancing in wild cards. Aurora leading Class B right now at 5-0, followed by Gretna at 5-0. Elkhorn South 5-0. York, a team that is 4-1. There's a team that similar fortunes to Sidney here the last couple of years, doing a nice job in turning their program around. Behind them we have Ralston 5-0, Omaha Scott Catholic at 4-1, McCook, who we just saw, at 4-1, Beatrice 4-1, Scotts Bluff 3-2, South Sioux City at 3-2, and then behind that is Sidney at 3-2. So, if nothing else, I'm telling you, at this point in the season, right now, Sidney is sitting 11th in playoff points. So, sitting very favorably right now. Not in a bad position at all. Years where we were kind of hanging around, that 15th, 16th spot, hoping to get in. So, the Red Raiders definitely control their destiny a little bit at this point. needing to get something going here quick. And we still have Alliance, who is at 3-2, is going to fall a couple 3 slots below that, as well as Holdridge, Lexington, a little bit farther than that, and behind them is Gearing. So a lot to play for, a lot still at stake here for the Red Raiders tonight. Anything in particular that you think or you would like to see the Red Raiders maybe do, or that you could think of as being keys for them as they try to recapture a little bit of momentum here in the second half?
Sure. Well, I know if I was a defensive coordinator, I'd be harping on, hey, somebody's got to make a play, whether it's going to be a sack, whether it's ripping that ball through, getting that ball on the ground, forcing a turnover, getting a deflection, making a play, getting an interception. I'd be really hoping that on the defensive side, Sidney can force a turnover, because if you can make a short side of the field, Logan Lewis, and you got Chance Anglin, and possibly Lane with a fake handoff, roll out pass to Lucas or to another receiver, there's a lot of options on offense to score. Sidney is definitely, I think, defensively, you got to find a way to stop Lexington. So I'd be defense, defense, defense. Stop Lexington, don't let them score. If you can force a turnover, that would be ideal. Offensively, got to get points on the board. Chance and Logan both have had a lot of carries, have had a lot of good carries. We need to string some plays together, get in the end zone, and start fast. I think this first possession on offense, first possession on defense is going to set the tone for this third quarter right off the bat. So I think Sidney, they need to score, and they need to get a stop. A turnover would be huge. You just got to get people fired up and get the guys with some momentum here.
No, you're exactly right. And we have seen the Sidney defense at times make some key plays for the Raiders. We have a number of people, or several guys, who have had interceptions on the season. Kevin Jurgensen has been a strong linebacker for the Red Raiders. He has at least 1 pick on the year. Brian Rolls is able to been playing some strong linebacker as well for the Red Raiders. And it's one thing we talked about earlier, too, is that Sidney has a pretty good combination of guys on their offensive line that work well together, but kind of a secondary effect of that is it allows them to play several other guys who are good linemen in their own right, but allows them to rest and play just on the defensive side of the ball.
And that's nice, and that's something that really hasn't been true in the last few years of Sidney. Going back to your point about the interceptions, Sidney has 9 interceptions on the season. That's a great number. Lucas Rosenbaum has 3, and Lane Harvey has 2. But going back to your point about the depth at line, it's nice to get those guys a little bit of rest, and hopefully they can get some rest, get some momentum, get fired up, and make some big plays here, and maybe they can wear Lexington down, kind of do the opposite of what McCook and Aurora were able to do against Sidney. Hopefully Sidney can now do that to Lexington, grind away and make a play. Now, I do want to say this. Lexington started up 20-0 at halftime against Gearing. So Lexington is a first-half team. Gearing stormed back, and Lexington only won 23-20. So I think Sidney has an opportunity here to be a second-half team that's maybe not the strength of Lexington and get Lexington on the ropes. But I really think these first couple possessions are so critical that to set the tone for how this third quarter is going to go. And you mentioned the wild card points. If Sidney doesn't win the district, which there's a great possibility Sidney can win the district, but if Sidney would not win the district, you want to put yourself in every position you can to get a chance to make the playoffs, which we haven't been since 1994, and that's why it's so exciting at where we're at right now at this point of the season. But we're only at the midway point, and there's a lot of football to be played. This is a game versus Lexington you'd love to find a way in the second half, take the lead, get the win, and increase your wild card points.
Yes, definitely. And, with that said, too, the losses that Sidney has to date aren't the type of losses that are going to hurt you a whole lot, because what Nebraska also does is they classify teams that everybody, as you play, they classify teams as Division I, Division II, or Division III. Our losses right now are to McCook and Aurora, who are both classified as Division I teams. So that doesn't hurt Sidney per se as much as a loss would have to a team like Imperial in Class C. So while they do have a couple losses on this season, it's not gonna take the hit on that as much as we would in previous years against some of our other teams. Waiting here for things to get back underway at Weymouth Field. Still windy conditions, still blustery conditions, still have snow out here on the field. Definitely things not getting any better. Sidney getting ready to receive the kick here at the second half. We'll try to get the camera switched here back quickly. Okay.
Going back to your the losses that you were talking about with Sidney, Aurora's 5-0, McCook is 4-1. That's 9-1. Those appear to be teams that are going to be Division I teams throughout the year, and so that loss would not hurt. But as opposed to tonight, Lexington's 2-3. So if they would lose, if Sidney would win, they'd be 3-3. That'd be a Division II, which would hurt definitely more than some of those Division I losses. So this is a very big second half. Sidney's trailing by 2 possessions. Sidney's going to get the ball. They're going to be going into the wind. Lexington really dominated that first quarter when they had the wind at their back, and Sidney had poor field position. Lexington had tremendous field position right off the bat. Here's the kickoff for the third quarter.
Kick is going to be deep, fielded by Anglin. Going to try straight up the middle of the field. Finds a little bit of room past one man. Going to be just shy of the 30-yard line. So not bad field position for Red Raiders as they begin the second half here. They will be traveling into the wind. We do still have the snowy conditions. But we do have, again, that running attack where they're just going to keep coming at you. And hopefully, as you said, maybe this is the type of situation where eventually we begin to hopefully wear down the Lexington defense a little bit. Strong left formation for the Raiders. Conger and Deaver to the left side. Lewis the lone setback. Harvey under center. Motion across the field with Anglin. He's going to cut back in and counter back the other way. Nice little play. Nice pickup on the play, probably here of about 7 yards. Basically starting motion across to his left and then cutting back to the right. Red Raiders again. Motion, quick motion to the right. Going to try the same play going the other direction. Nice gain on the play.
It's because I'm holding it too close.
Rosenbaum split out to the left side. Motion across the left side. Give us to Lewis through just around the left edge. Little bit of room there. Actually, not a bad carry at all. Probably about 5 yards. Second and a long 5 for the Red Raiders. Strong left formation. Anglin comes in motion. Give cuts back, the little cutback play again. That time defended well by the Lexington Minutemen. Going to bring up a third down for the Red Raiders. Third and about 6 probably here on the next play. Little bit of snow starting to accumulate on the field. We're starting to see a little bit of it stick, as we expected here in the later hours. Rosenbaum split to the left. Give is to Lewis on the right side. Nice blocking in front of him. Going to pick up the first down.
That was a really big run to keep the possession alive. 3rd and 6 on a possession that we've already said at halftime is extremely important for Sidney to set the tempo of this third quarter is going to be. 3rd and 6, tough yardage, and Logan with a nice run off tackle to get 7-8 yards.
Strong left formation for the Raiders. Anglin comes across. Give is to Lewis. And not a whole lot doing there as he's met right away by a couple Minutemen defenders. Sidney going to be quick here to get back over the football. Strong left formation for the Raiders. Deaver in motion, deep across the right side. Give is to Lewis on the right. Nice opening. Big play. He's going to squirt right on through to the middle, and he's down to very close. Very big pickup for the Red Raiders there.
Just what Sidney was looking for to start out the second half. Logan really getting going with a nice 7-8 yard run earlier and a big 35-yard run there.
And boy, what it wouldn't do for confidence right now if the Red Raiders could answer the call here early in the third quarter. Clock's starting. Harvey under center. Give is to Anglin, cutting back into the middle of the field. Met again by a host of Lexington defenders. Snow continuing to come hard out of the northwest.
It's nice to see this drive into the wind here. First half into the wind, Sidney did not do so well.
Quick give to Lewis on the left side. Met quickly by number 2. Number 2, Dakota Hernandez, a 5'9", 165-pound junior for the Minutemen. I guess we're on that one. Strong left formation for the Raiders. Harvey under center. Anglin deep motion right straight ahead. Harvey's going to try and find the room that he needs. Looking for a signal. Nothing yet from the officials. Looks like they're going to mark him just short of the goal line. Third and goal for the Red Raiders. Favorite play of Lane. He likes to try and see an opening and get in nice and tight behind those big boys and just push. It's worked well for him in the past. Strong right formation. Anglin's going to be on the left-hand side here. Straight ahead again for Harvey. Trying, pushing, should be, is he? Extra effort? Yes, he is in for the score. He is in for the score there on the quarterback sneak. Bringing our score to Lexington 20 and Sidney 12. Nice drive, as we said. Like you said, needed a spark, needed something to kind of get this thing going. Logan Lewis providing that. He squirted through on a nice little veer play on the right side. And, boy, if you turn him loose in open space, he can scoot.
He's tough. He had over 40 yards on that possession. Nice job capitalizing, getting in. I don't know if you guys can tell as much on the angle that you have. We're watching another angle. The bleachers are really shaking. It is really windy right now. Chance on the right side is going to have a chance to get in. It's going to be close.
It is second effort all the way there. He was pushing to the right side hard, ladies and gentlemen, and he had people on his feet, on his back, and able just to finally squirt loose and dive for the end zone. And that's a nice pickup right there of 2 points, creating a more favorable position, with now Sidney only trailing by 6. Score Lexington 20, Sidney 14.
Great extra effort by Chance. Those 2 points were big. It's now only a 6-point game. Great start. So we talked about what the offense needed to do, and they did that immediately, get points on the board. Now we've talked about what the defense needs to do. Get stops, force a turnover. So I'm interested to see, gosh, the offense clicked right there. I'd be interested to see now if the defense can do the same. Lexington had a lot of confidence first half, played very well. The quarterback really ran all over the place, Ansbach, and he was able to get the ball in the air for touchdowns, passing, running, and they also kicked 2 field goals. So good start for Lexington in the first half. This second half, they're going to have the wind at their back in the third quarter. First quarter, when that was the case, they really got off to a fast start and scored 13 points in that first quarter.
And as you said, Sidney really needing somebody to make a play on defense. You know, here's the point in the game where you want to try and see somebody create a turnover, create something positive, and again, keep that momentum going. Keep things working in your favor. All right, ready for the kickoff here. Doing a little work on our center camera. That's why you're getting the view down from the end zone. And if at times it looks like our production is held together by bubble gum and tape, well, it is. This is a non-budget affair, ladies and gentlemen, and the amount of stuff we've been able to put together so far has been amazing. But if you've enjoyed this broadcast and would like to see things like this continue, please let your administration know. More than willing always to accept donations towards the cause as we try to work to improve our setup, work to improve our equipment, and ultimately provide a product for you. Ansbach on the fake.
Big defensive play. It looks like Jake Sager on the tackle, loss on the gain. There haven't been a lot of negative plays for Lexington's offense. Big start for the Sidney defense right off the bat.
Very key here. The Red Raiders try to keep Lexington from getting a first down and keeping that momentum going. Spread formation again. Trips left for the Minutemen. Lemus to the right. Shotgun snap. Drops back. Looks into the little dig. No, it's going to be a little drop off to the running back. But a nice defensive stop there. Jurgensen in near the play, as well as, I believe, Tucker Winholtz.
Lucas got in the way, but nice job by continued pursuit after the football and make a play. Jake Sayer got there quick on the screen pass, made them throw maybe slightly earlier than they hoped to throw. Big third down here for Sidney's defense.
Spread formation, twin receivers, both sides. Dropping back, looking, firing, inside slant. Lucas Rosenbaum able to make the tackle. But once again, that Lexington receiver just able to slip inside quickly. Quick little route, 1, 2, 3 look, and he was there.
Nice slant route, hit him right in stride. Great pass by the quarterback. Nice job by the receiver to get extra yards after the catch. And just like that, now inside the 30-yard line of Sidney here, early third quarter.
Spread formation again. Oh, we have somebody jumping off sides. I shouldn't say offside. Legal motion there. So, bit of a hurry, a little bit anxious. Little activity by the Sidney PD there, just outside the end zone.
They got to keep the streets safe, and it looks like they're doing that even in these cold conditions here, Roger.
Oh, justice stops for no one here. Okay, Sidney, shotgun formation, fake to Lemus, drops back.
Another screen play.
Another inside screen play. Oh, and he's able to avoid a couple of Sidney defenders. That's number 5, Marco Muniz, 5'9", 155-pound senior. Lexington getting the play here. Going to be quick over the football again. Trips left formation. Lima sets up protection on the right. Sidney bringing a blitz. Quarterback's going to sneak right ahead on a draw.
Good open field tackle on the play. This will bring up third and about 6, 3rd and 5. You may have noticed a couple times when they've showed pictures of the stands or seen stands in the background. Not a great crowd tonight because of the weather. The first 2 home games, gosh, it was packed. Last week it was really cold. We kind of limited the fans. And tonight's also the case, but really great fan support this year. And unfortunately, because of the weather this week and last week, haven't had as many people come out due to those conditions.
Weather conditions definitely playing a factor tonight. Option left for the Minutemen. Oh, they're letting him get away, though. Couple broken tackles. Gonna turn a short gain into a big play here for the Minutemen.
Touchdown.
And he did. He got in.
Great extra effort. We talked about Chance and the extra effort on getting the 2-point conversion to score. Huge extra effort right there by the Lexington running back to get in that drive. Loomis looked like he was done for early on, broke a couple tackles, scored, and that's going to put Lexington up 26-14, bringing on the extra point unit.
Definitely Sidney did have some people in position at that time and just able to not quite finish him off, and Lemus doing the job, getting away. Lexington setting up for the point after attempt here. Kick is up. Did he get it inside? Yes, he did. So that's going to bring our score to 27 to Sidney's 14, a 13-point differential here in the third quarter.
The wind here is unbelievable how much it's shaking, just the shed. You can see it outside. The cameras are shaking a little bit. It's got to be a major impact right now on the players.
Just under 5 minutes here in the third quarter. Sidney's going to take a chance to regroup, see if we can get another drive going here on the field. A little bit more snow starting to accumulate on the field. Lexington getting ready here for the kick, kicking with the wind at their back once again.
It's a good response by the Lexington offense. Sidney marched down the field, scored, brought it within a one-possession game. Lexington's offense immediately responded, had a big third down, got a nice pass on a slant play to march the field, ended up scoring on a nice run to the left side. And now it's a 2-possession game again. Late third quarter, Sidney's going to get the ball back. Let's see what Sidney does on offense. They need another score now.
Nice kick over to the right side. Slightly mishandled, going to be picked up. Try to find a little bit of running room. Not much going. It's going to hurt the Raiders. They're not able to pick up the ball right away. Ball's going to be spotted on the, where are we at here? About the 14-yard line, I think.
And it's easy to understand how you could misjudge the kick. A lot of wind. The wind's gusting that ball over the place. Chance thought it was going to be a little shorter than it ended up going. Went over his head. By the time he was able to corral it, Lexington was down there, and they got a big play. So Sidney's backs are against the wall. Does not mean they can't score, but it's going to make it a little tougher.
Strong right formation. Give is to Lewis on the right side, in behind his blockers. Nice yard straight ahead on the play. Getting back to that little veer offense. Trying to get something behind his big boys going there on the right side. Going to be strong right formation again. Rosenbaum split out to the left. Harvey under center. Lewis the lone setback. Give again is to Lewis. Same type of play over the right side. Not quite as many yards this time, but a gain of a couple. Looks like he got a first down on the carry up to about the 28-yard line.
14 yards for Logan on the first 2 carries. Let's see if Chance gets the ball here, or maybe go right back to Logan.
Quick give. Lewis on the left side. Going to try the other side. Couple yards on the play. Always trying to test that middle. Always trying to test guys on the edge. Sidney's going to come to the line quick again. Strong right formation. Chance on the left. Lewis the setback. Motion with Deaver across the field. Give is to Lewis. He's looking for some room. He's able to pop to the outside. He's got one guy on his side, and he's going to be down on the 30-yard line.
Nice run for Logan, and you always know that at any moment Logan or Chance can break a big one. Logan already had 2 carries for 14 yards, then had 1 yard gain, and then immediately right back at him off tackle. Big run down the sideline for a nice Sidney first down in Lexington territory.
And it's one of those things, like I said at halftime, you always have to believe you're just one block away. One block away at any given time with these guys, and they definitely got some help out of the offensive line on that play. Give again is to Anglin on the right side. He's going to try and cut inside, get a couple more, able to get a few more yards. Nice pickup by Anglin on the carry. Ball is moved out of bounds. Does get a first down on the play. So a great pickup for Anglin there as he tests the right side. 10 on the carry. Anglin in motion to the right. Give us to give us to number 30. Give us number 30, Peyton Hill.
Freshman.
Peyton Hill, a freshman that we have seen a little bit early in the season. He does get a couple carries, and not necessarily late in the game. They will work him into the mix.
He's a big, strong, he's a very stocky, strong kid. Has a bright future, just a freshman.
Nice carry for the young Red Raider. Give is to Deaver, coming around the left side, but just not able to get anything going, and he's going to get it. Oh, we are going to have a flag. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Deaver was stopped. He had one guy that had him around the ankles, and the Lexington player, as the whistle was blown, little excessive contact there.
Well, they've really tried to buckle down on that in NFL and college football. And I was actually, as I was watching that, I was thinking if this was an NFL game, that guy's getting in trouble, and there's going to be a 15-yard penalty. And you see it trickling over to high school sports, just the safety of the players. They had him wrapped up. It was great pursuit by Lexington, just a little excessive at the end.
And you know how we talked about last week's game with McCook, with penalties playing a key part of offensive drives, both for McCook and for Sidney. This one definitely could be costly to the Minutemen, as it's going to create very favorable position for the Red Raiders, keeping this Red Raider drive moving. Going to be strong left for the Red Raiders. Conger and Tyler Winholtz split out to the left. Rosenbaum split to the right. Winholtz, a sure-handed young sophomore. Let's see if they try to do anything with him here. Motion is to Anglin, a little cut back, trying to come back against the grain. We are going to have, I believe, a face mask on the play. Did have a flag come out right away. Looked to be somebody up high around the head area, I think.
Either a face mask or a horse tackle or horse collar of some sort. So back-to-back personal fouls, and this is not what Lexington wants, but definitely aiding the Raiders here is getting in the red zone and getting closer to another score to bring them within one possession of this game. So really a fast-paced offensive third quarter we've had here from both sides.
Definitely both teams trying to keep things moving. Red Raiders deep into Lexington territory here, coming now over the ball. Rosenbaum splits to the left, Conger on the right. And that time Lewis in motion. Lewis in motion from the halfback spot, coming around, able to avoid one defender. Not able to quite get the momentum going that he needed. Hard to tell right now. Looks like we are right on the 5-yard line. Conger and Winholtz out to the right. Lewis, your setback. Winholtz in motion. Gives to Lewis. Just not enough to get going there on the inside. Lexington Minutemen filling the hole, stepping up. Good penetration by the defense right now. Harvey asking for a play. Looks like he's got something in mind that he wants to try. Trying to get the attention of the coach on the sideline. Strong right formation again for the Raiders. Motion right. Basically just straight ahead. Lane's trying to find some little bit of wiggle room on his own there. Gives the center a goose and is able to take off and go. All right, Red Raiders back over the ball. Motion to the left side. Going to be a quick toss. He's got some room. Can he make the corner? And he does. Anglin is in for the score.
Nice response by Chance Anglin, Logan Lewis, and the rest of the Raiders. Good possession as well. Big score here. This is going to bring the score now 27-20. Last time Chance was able to get in on the 2-point conversion. Let's see if they can do that again.
So again, Sidney going back to one of their bread and butter plays. A little quick toss to Anglin around the left side. You could see he had the initial block, and boy, it was there in front of him for the taking, and he took it. Strong right, ball on the left hash for the Raiders as they do the 2-point attempt here. Motion across the left. Give is to Lewis, trying to reach, trying to find some room, and he's in. Signal from the official on the left-hand side. He did get in.
What an impressive response by Sidney. Marching down the field, two big aided penalties, personal foul penalties, 27-22. Sidney right in the thick of this again, back-to-back scoring drives. Lexington scored. There's only been 3 possessions of the second half. All 3 times both teams have scored. We've had a big offensive quarter here as Sidney scored 16 points. Lexington scored 7 points. That's 23 points in this third quarter for these two teams. And I'll tell you what, we've been saying since halftime, Sidney's got to get a stop on defense. It's a 5-point game. We're getting late third quarter. The way the Sidney's offense is moving, I feel very confident Sidney can win this game on the offensive side. The defense has got to prove that they can win it on their side too.
38 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Sidney looking to transfer all this momentum onto the defensive side of the ball, either through a 3-and-out or some type of turnover. Trying to maintain the confidence that they've established here on the offensive side of the ball and get some things going. Teeing up the ball here for the Raiders, Lucas Rosenbaum. We'll see if it's an onside kick, a squib kick, or if they potentially go deep. Looks to be a squib. It's an onside kick. Ball's going to be touched short by Lexington, which they can do. The receiving team does not have to let the ball come 10 yards, although it does become live if he touches it.
Talk about a very confident kid. He had no hesitation, jumped on the ball, got it with both hands, and was able to corral it. You jump over there and you tip the ball and you can't get it. Sidney's going to recover and have a chance to score right off the bat.
And yet at the same time, that's sometimes your best option because Sidney can't do anything until it reaches 10 yards. They have to wait for the ball to go 10 yards. He does not. So as long as he feels comfortable covering the ball, probably a better option for Lexington. Lexington coming over the football, shotgun formation, trips right, one spread to the left. Looks to the right, swing pass to the right, and it's caught, but he is not able to get his feet underneath of him. Actually going to be a loss on the play. It's going to bring up a second down and about 15 for the Minutemen.
The Sidney faithful, the student section, they are bundled up and huddled together over there on a very cold, blistering night.
And again, we have our faithful camera crew out there in the conditions. Snap is back to Ansbach. Looking to the left side, has somebody, and it's going to be, looked like a chance, an opportunity for an interception there. Like we said, we were looking for the Sidney defense to take advantage of something here. Try to get that quick turnover, try to get that quick change of direction. Cameramen tonight, again, we have Gunnar Coffey down on one of the cameras in the end zone. I gave him a coat because he doesn't seem to know what a coat is. Joseph Tomzik on our center camera up in the stands. And Jacob Peterson down in our north end zone with the wind at his back. Lexington over the ball now. It's going to be trips left formation. Lima sets up on his right. Shotgun snap, passing play. Ansbach in trouble, and he is sacked. That was a 3rd and long, which now became a 4th and longer. Tackle made by number 62, Tucker Winholtz. The big boy comes rolling through and takes care of business.
I see him in the hall every day, and I always think, gosh, the only way I could tackle him is if he's leaning over and doesn't see me coming. What a big play, big sack. It's going to be 4th and very long, 4th and over 20. This is just what Sidney needed. Big punt here coming up, we would assume, with the wind at Lexington's back, but now Sidney's going to have a chance, as long as the punt occurs, which we believe it will, to get the ball and try to take the lead, which would be Sidney's first lead of the game, I actually believe. It's been a while since Sidney has been able to have an opportunity to take the lead, and this will be one of the possessions. So great job so far in this third quarter by Sidney, and what a big defensive possession right there. And that's actually going to be the end of the third quarter, it appears.
So again, Sidney being told, stay the course, keep doing what you're doing. A lot of positive things going. We're only one block away from making something happen, and that has definitely been the case for the Red Raiders here. Lexington setting up here on the punt formation, spread punt formation. Ball was on the ground briefly. He does get the kick away. Good quick one step by the punter. Ball's going to go out of bounds on about the 38-yard line. So again, not too bad a field position for the Red Raiders. They just have to keep finding that ideal mix of running that's going to be able to put plays together, sustain a drive, and get something down the field. 11:53 here left in the contest as we get underway in the fourth quarter. Lexington still leading 27-22, but momentum on the Red Raider side. Lane Harvey under center, strong left. Give is to Lewis, finds a little bit of room. Nice little cut initially through the line of scrimmage, getting him about 8 yards on the carry. Going to set up a 2nd and short just inside the 50-yard line for the Red Raiders. Sidney really needing just to keep the pace going and try to put the pedal to the metal here. Motion across to the right. Give again is to Lewis, and he does get the first down. First down plus a couple more yards. White Hat giving us the signal here. We thank you for that. Appreciate that. Showing a little love to our cameraman here. Sidney quick out over the ball. Rosenbaum is split out to the right. Anglin in at the wing. Give is to Lewis. He's going to try the left side. He's got some room. Run out of bounds at just about the 38-yard line. So a nice pickup on second down there. Or was that first down? That was second down. Nice pickup on the play. Going to bring up just a short couple, 2 or 3 yards here. And a give again, getting in behind Sager on that left side. Ball all close to the 35-yard line. Clock is going to stop. Haas is going to signal first down for us. So we do indeed have a first down for the Red Raiders.
And again, the momentum of this offense that we've seen the entire third quarter is continuing here into the fourth quarter. Logan hammering away, and it seems like Sidney's starting to wear down Lexington.
And this is kind of ideally what I was hoping for. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to get them to break a little bit. Nice pickup for Lewis through the inside. Right down the gut for the Red Raider, and he's got some nice yards. It's going to bring up second down. Strong left for the Raiders. Rosenbaum to the right. Anglin on the right wing. Motion across with Anglin. Give is to Lewis. And he's keeping his feet moving for a fantastic run. Nice run right up through the left side.
Just how they teach it. Chop your feet, don't start chopping. He had 2 guys on his back, and he just carried them and carried them, carried them. And Sidney marching at the doors inside the 15-yard line here.
Definitely not a time to slow down. Here we go. Harvey under center. Give us to Lewis around the left side. Sager with a block. And he managed to keep his feet going again. Looked like the ball might have come loose potentially. And this is what we're hearing from Lexington. It does look like there was a turnover on the play as he neared the sideline.
Big turnover. Logan did a great job chopping his feet. Somebody on Lexington was able to punch the ball through, and they jumped on the ball. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to a turnover, you're inside the 5-yard line. You're just about to score for the first time in the game. Take the lead. What a momentum blow by Lexington. Great job. Credit Lexington defense. They now have the ball. But I'll tell you what a huge play, and we'll see how this play impacts the rest of the game, but what a big play at this moment as Sidney was about to score a touchdown. It appeared so close to the end zone. Logan had been doing such a great job. Give the credit to the Lexington defense. Get in there, make a play, rip that ball loose, and what a stop by Lexington's defense when their backs were against the wall right by the goal line here. So big opportunity now. Sidney's not out of it. They got to get a stop, so they got to do just what Lexington did to them, find a way to get the ball back.
Had a down Lexington player on the far sideline. We're going to bring him back across the field. Number 2, Dakota Hernandez, 5'9", 165-pound junior for the Minutemen. Action back underway. Spread formation for the Minutemen. Ansbach going to come up under center quickly. Jurgensen, seeing what was going on, steps up into the hole. Gain of maybe a couple here on the play. Kevin Jurgensen immediately recognized something from film there when he saw Ansbach come up under center, something that we have not seen the Lexington quarterback do much of at all during this contest. Spread formation again for the Minutemen. 2 backs in to protect. We got the give and wrapped up. There we go. A little bit of help from the Red Raider defense. Makes a nice stop on the play. Defense doing a nice job here, slowing Lexington down, trying to get a stop so they can get the ball back in the hands of their offense. Spread formation again for Lexington. Checking the play. Going to be an audible here at the line. Checks to the right side. Pass intended. Yeah, we lost our receiver there. But a nicely defended play by the Red Raiders. 8:43 remaining in the contest. Ball is on the 7-yard line, 4th down and 6.
So good defensive stand there. Sidney needed this to get an opportunity to get the ball back. punting into the wind. This guy's had a very good day. Even his punts into the wind have been pretty good. Punting from their own 7. Fourth quarter, under 9 minutes. Good snap, good hold, good kick. And let's see where the officials mark this at. It's going to look like Sidney's going to have great field position inside the Lexington field position, roughly the 35-yard line. So here we go. Sidney with another opportunity. Even though they turned the ball over inside the 5, which was a huge play at the time, the defense came back on the field, 3 and out. Lexington had a punt within the 10. So this is another chance at redemption here for Sidney, trailing by 5, fourth quarter.
And really a fortuitous punt there for the Red Raiders. As you know, they don't drop anybody back on punt return, and the Lexington kicker was not able to kick the ball in bounds. So favorable spot for the Raiders here now as they take over again on offense. Switching the balls out. Each team does use their own ball. Red Raiders coming over center. Give is to Lewis on the left side, going back to what they had before, following Sager. Nice pickup on the play. Going to be out of bounds to stop the clock.
Nice run for Logan again, and they're just handing the ball off in Logan. And I'll tell you what, we've seen a new dimension of him in the second half. He's running with a purpose, and he's running with downhill force, getting first downs. A nice run there to make it a short second down here.
Been able to move the pile, take some bodies with him, so he's got to keep that pad level down, try to make the most out of every opportunity. Give us again to Lewis on the right side, looking for room, trying to squirt, trying to cut back. Able to make something out of nothing there, really. Initially trying to go to the right side, didn't see what he liked, trying to make something happen, a little bit of cut, a little bit of juke. We do have a Red Raider down on the field, but we have had a trainer come onto the field, so he is going to have to leave the field for one play. And that appears to be number 73, Cody Frericks. He is leaving under his own power. Didn't look to be anything too serious, maybe just a twisted ankle or something. Harvey coming up under center, strong left for the Raiders. All right, here we go. Angling around the left side this time. Pretty good pursuit by the Lexington defense. Does manage to get Anglin tackled inbounds there, so the clock will continue to run. Clock not a factor at this point yet, though. Sidney over the football. Strong left formation again. Give us to Lewis. Nice initial push off of Sager. Just not enough help there on the edge, though, to make too much out of that. Here we're going to, let's see, we have about 7.5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Ball's on the 23-yard line.
Here's an incredible stat. Logan, the second half alone, and we still have half of a quarter left, has already carried the ball 21 times. He has 33 attempts in the game, so he has been a workhorse for Sidney.
Sidney down by 5, needing the score. Deaver in motion across the formation. Loose ball. Harvey, did he get back on top of it? Looked like he just pulled out of center a little bit too early on that. And they do manage to avoid a disastrous situation here once again. Fourth down here for the Raiders. Really like to see them get a first down on this.
Really big play here. 4th and 9, mid-fourth quarter. Sidney needs to score. They're not a field goal kicking team. They're definitely going to go for this here.
Down by 5, like we said. They need to get it into the end zone. Deaver in motion, comes across, and we had a hard count once again. Red Raiders showing some discipline on the play, able to get the Minutemen to come across. So that is going to work to Sidney's advantage here a little bit.
It's always funny. We're in a shed here, and there's banging on our door. We've had one mic go out, so it's a great day. Very technical savvy here. We're finding a way to make it work. Big play here.
We've got some Lexington fans banging on the door, but right now it's the Sidney offense that's banging on the door as they try to get the ball in the end zone here into the fourth quarter. Give it to Lewis, round the right side. Going to have to look to see where the spot is on this. Everybody's pointing in their direction. We are going to get a measurement on the field. Everybody rooting for their own outcome on this one. Bringing the chains out onto the field here. We will get a quick look. Nice camera work here. And he is going to be short. He is going to be short by about a yard on the play. So, Lexington's going to take over on downs here late in the fourth quarter. We've got 6 minutes and 51 seconds left. 1st and 10 for the Minutemen on the 15-yard line. Really would have liked to see Sidney get something going and punch one in there. Still have an opportunity, still have time. Just need to get a couple defensive stops here. Ansbach is keeping it. Oh, and we need to wrap up a little bit. He does make some nice yards on the carry.
Big broken tackle, and I would say if there's one player that I would give the game ball to on the Lexington side, it's definitely the quarterback, Morgan Ansbach today. A lot of big carries. That was a big carry there, running right up the middle, off a block, broke a couple tackles for a big run.
Spread formation again. 2 backs in the backfield this time. And the give is to Lemus. Lexington, oh, we do have a flag on the play. I'm wondering if that's not maybe a potential face mask as quick as it came out. Holding. Was it a holding penalty? Looks to be on Lexington. Definitely something the Red Raiders needed here. Try to take back some yards, get themselves back in a favorable position here on the football field.
Big penalty and good job by the Sidney defense. So this will bring up a big play here. Now they're back inside, it looks like possibly the 20-yard line. So here, big play and big possession.
Ball on maybe the 17-yard line. 2 backs in the backfield with Ansbach. Snap is to him. Quarterback sweep around the left side. Nice pressure by the Sidney defense. Tyler Winholtz, number 24, your Red Raider, on the tackle. Saw it coming and definitely did everything he needed to do, keeping his outside arm and leg free to make the play. Going to put Lexington Minutemen here into a long yardage situation.
Big pursuit, and Lexington continues to go further back, now back to the 10-yard line. What a play by Tyler Winholtz.
And definitely you could see Lexington trying to take some time off of the clock here. Hopefully Sidney can use it to our advantage and get the stop. Keep is going to be by Ansbach. Squirts through the first man. Brought down by number 72, Kevin Jurgensen. Long yardage situation here for the Minutemen. They must have had a first down in there somewhere. Ready for the snap. Ansbach, 2 guys set to the right. Rolls to his right. Looking in the flats. No, a little bit deeper. And was it? Oh, so close. Almost picked off by Lucas Rosenbaum, the defender on the play there for the Red Raiders. Put himself in great position. Sidney bending a little bit, but not breaking. Working hard to get the ball back here.
Good defensive possession. This will bring up 4th down. Kicking into the wind. So Sidney, again, another opportunity brought on by the defense.
Kick is away for the Minutemen. Nobody back deep for the Raiders. It is going to take a roll. Ball's going to be on the 43-yard line. So with 4 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter, first and 10 for the Raiders on the 43-yard line. Plenty of time still left on the clock here for Sidney to get something going. Deaver on the right, Anglin on the left. Anglin in motion across, give us to Lewis. He finds the running room, evades one tackler, evades two tacklers, and he's able to get a nice run all the way down to near the 30-yard line.
Big run, and again, Sidney continues to knock on the door. 3 possessions getting in. Uh-oh, we do have a penalty flag. Let's see what this is. A great run by Logan, but it might be a holding call.
And boy, you sure hate to see that wiped out because there was the spark that you needed. Trying to get something going right away off the bat. Officials are going to converse here, talk about what they saw, make sure that people are seeing the same thing. Try to get the call from the head official here. Holding on the Red Raiders. So it is going to bring the ball back.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on that.
But we also had unsportsmanlike conduct on the Lexington Minutemen. We're going to have offsetting penalties here. Is it offsetting or not? Or did we get the unsportsmanlike conduct after the play? Yeah, we are. We are going to mark off the holding penalty, and then we're going to mark off the unsportsmanlike conduct against Lexington.
So it actually turned out a favorable call for Sidney. So 1st and 10. The last 2 possessions, Sidney got down to the 2-yard line, fumbled. The previous possession got inside the 20, had a turnover on down. So this is now the 3rd possession in a row. Sidney's trying to take the lead here.
Strong left for the Raiders. Anglin in motion. Loose ball. Definitely having a little bit of problem here. Hanging on to the football late in the game.
And it's harder to tell on our center camera as the camera is crystal clear, but there's a lot of the conditions have worsened in the second half with the wind and with the snow.
Anglin in motion, give us to Lewis, straight ahead, big run right through the middle, trying to keep his balance. Huge first down, almost to the, well, let's call it the 22-yard line. But boy, what a shot in the arm straight ahead for the Red Raider offense here as they try to close in on that end zone with now just 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the contest.
I'll tell you what, if there's been one thing I've really noticed in the second half, it's they've decided we're going to give the ball to Logan Lewis. We're going to hammer it down your throat. We're going to let Logan Lewis have a chance to win this game. And again, who do you think got the ball? It's Logan Lewis for another 5 yards.
The game right now appears to be on his back, and he's more than willing to accept the load. So here, ball is going to be spotted on the well, here we go. Harvey under center. Deaver in motion to the left. Give us to Lewis, trying to find some room. Not quite getting the blocks that he needed there. So the Red Raiders are going to have to find a way to keep this drive going. The ball is on about the 20-yard line. So you have to feel like this is an opportunity that you cannot afford to let slip away if you are the Sidney Red Raiders. Ball is put into play. Raiders will come over center. Conger and Deaver set out to the right. Harvey under center. Anglin in motion. Give us to Lewis. Straight ahead. Nice carry on the play.
That's Logan's 26th carry of the second half and his 38th carry of the game. That's almost 40 carries, and this is my stat, so I could have missed a couple. So for sure he has at least 38, and it's very possible I missed a couple. That does not include the couple times he's ran where there's been penalties on the play and they've had to replay the down.
Okay, I'll take your stats anytime. Here we go. Conger and Deaver on the right. We are going to have a timeout here on the Lexington defense, deciding that they need to talk to their guys here before they give something away. 2 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Ball is on the 15-yard line. 4th and 3. So 4th down and 3 yards to go here for the Red Raiders.
Talk about crunch time, and not only that, these are the kind of moments you think about when you're a kid. You're outside, you're playing football in the snowy conditions, it's 4th and 3, you're trailing by 5, you're getting near a scoring opportunity. You've thought of these moments all your life. I guarantee you Logan's thought of it. I guarantee you Chance has thought of it. I guarantee you Lane Harvey has thought of it. So one of those 3 guys, the ball is going to be in their hands on this big 4th and 3, trailing by 5. The last 2 times Sidney's got in the red zone have not been able to score due to turnover and a turnover on downs. This is now the 3rd time. Have to capitalize. You're running out of time in this game. Have had a great second half, trailed by 14 at halftime. It's now only a 5-point game, but it comes down to a big 4th and 3. Lexington has been a bend but don't break defense so far. Sidney needs to find a way to break that defense here. 2:15 remaining. Big 4th and 3.
So it comes down to this with just over 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Harvey under center. Deaver in motion. And a hard count. They get him to come across one more time. And you had to see that coming.
Well, I was right when I saw Lane go to the line of scrimmage. My first thought was, here we go. We've seen this 5 or 6 times from both teams, drawing the other team off sides. A couple times there's been false starts, but they've tried to draw people off on the hard count. So 1st down. So still more opportunities, more time now, and more plays for Sidney.
Harvey under center, Anglin in motion. Give us to Lewis, straight ahead. Nice pickup. He's going to make a nice gain on the play, down to about the 5-yard line. And definitely that was, you probably should have expected it to try and draw Lexington off sides, but at the same time, so much attention being given to Logan Lewis right now. Logan Lewis dips inside, looking for a little bit of room. Able to get a couple yards.
We're at an interesting period of the game with less than 2 minutes remaining. Sidney's inside the 5-yard line. You kind of want to run clock, but you definitely want to score. You don't really want Lexington to have a chance late in the game with time on the clock. They've already used at least one timeout. Here we go.
Give us to Anglin, trying to get around to the right side. But number 31 for the Minuteman was there to make the play. Pascal Francisco, a 5'3", 130-pound senior for the Minutemen. We hadn't seen a lot of carries here for Anglin as of late, so Red Raiders hoping to catch him off guard. Crucial down here for the Red Raiders.
The Lexington crowd really getting into this right now.
Harvey rolls to his left, looks left, checking to his right, scrambling now for a little bit, trying to find somebody, throwing all the way back to the left, and not able to make the completion. So Sidney doing a nice job of coming up just a little bit short there at the end of this drive. Ball's going to turn over to the Lexington on about the 10-yard line.
40 seconds.
40 seconds left in the contest. Ansbach going to come up under center. Just trying for a yard or two. Lexington crowd encouraging him to get down so the ball is not potentially stripped away.
I'll tell you what, this has been a game of a lot of plays. Lexington had that big pump block, big return on it. The very next play scored. There's been a couple times Sidney's had, actually 3 times I can think of where Sidney's had an open receiver. You catch that pass, it's a touchdown. So all these just one plays in the game. It's amazing how many one plays you can see or you can think of that the score would be different just by one play in the game. And unfortunately for Sidney at this point, if they can't score a turnover, they're going to fail or they're going to lose this game 27-22. And so many times, 3 straight possessions got in the red zone against Lexington and 2 times turned it over on downs. Got so close, just was failed to be able to punch the ball through and get that elusive touchdown to take the lead. And Sidney's just been knocking on the door. Played a great second half to get themselves back in the game. A lot of offensive yards. Logan has had 30 carries in the second half, just an unbelievable number, but have been unable to make that big play when needed.
Lexington back over the football. Ansbach simply going to come ahead under center. Another timeout on the field. Sidney's going to use up their timeouts here. Get something yet out of this. And like you said, very easily, Sidney could have folded up shop at the half. It was a first half dominated by Lexington, and Sidney able to put themselves back into the game. It was some very nice drives coming out of the half here into the third quarter. So hard-fought contest on both sides by both teams. Both teams looking for a win, anxious to get back on the winning side of things. Lexington will come back over the ball again. Ansbach back on each side. Give the ball to number 9, Trevor McCune, 6'3", 385-pound sophomore, I believe. No, I've got that wrong. That was number 9, Patrick Spicer, 5'9", 160-pound senior. So Lexington's going to come over to the sideline here for a moment. We've got coming in on 27 seconds left in the contest here. 4th and 12, ball on the 8-yard line.
What a game by Logan Lewis. He's had 40 carries for 287 yards. This second half, he's had 209 rushing yards just in the second half, at 78 yards rushing in the first quarter. Unbelievable game for Logan. So here's big 4th down. Opportunity for Sidney to get the ball. This game is not over yet. There's still a chance here. Get a block punt, get a punt return if they have a returner back there. Otherwise, maybe get the ball and have a couple plays. Throw the ball in the end zone.
Head official starts play. Ball snapped back to the punter. Rugby, he's just going to run around a little bit. He's going to run around, and he's going to take the safety. He's going to take the safety, which is going to make the score 27 Lexington to Sidney 24. Not a bad play call at this point. Lexington obviously looking to set up better field position. If they punt where they're at, they potentially set up a very short field for Sidney. So they feel like they can take the safety, get back to their kickoff unit, and force Sidney into a very long field position.
Well, interesting dynamics here now. 21 seconds left. I like my chances having Chance and Logan back there. Either one can take it and go the distance. What's kind of your philosophy here? Are you just saying whoever gets the ball, try to get it to? Well, I guess let's change that. If you are Lexington, what do you think you would like to do in this situation? Because you would think you're wanting to not let Logan or Chance have the ball on a kick here.
Obviously, you have to do a nice job with your kickoff unit. So basically, everybody's needing to stay in their lanes, not give up containment more than anything else. Look for any possible trick play. Sidney has done in the past a little kick return play where they bring people to one side and then have another running back cut across laterally across the field, trying to catch people off balance. But beyond that, it's going to be a passing situation after this, and Lexington is more than likely they got to come out in some type of cover 4 defense, a prevent defense. 4 defensive backs deep saying, don't let anybody get behind you. Squib kick, kind of what you need to see there for Lexington, but it's picked up by one of the up backs. He's going to get out of bounds quickly. Chance Anglin there with the carry. So we're going to have a few seconds. We're going to have a few ticks of the clock here. Wind at the back for Sidney.
So Sidney now needs to find a way to catch the ball and get out of bounds, or if you can catch the ball and score, is I guess obviously your ideal situation. 46 yards away from pay dirt here, trailing by 3. Obviously field goals are not in play for this team, so we need to find a way to get downfield, either get out of bounds or score a touchdown. Here it is, big play coming up.
19 seconds left in the contest. Harvey under center. Doesn't need it all in one shot, but Going to roll out to his left, gets his shoulders set. Deep ball over the middle, tipped. Ball intended for Lucas Rosenbaum. Well defended there by Lexington. So again, type of play where you could move the chains. Didn't necessarily have to get it all in one big push there. So Red Raiders here with another opportunity. Rosenbaum's going to split wide to the left. Deaver in motion. Harvey again rolling to his left, looking for Rosenbaum. Down to the left sideline. Looked like he might have gotten tied up a little bit with the defender, but no flag on the play. So now we are down to 2.6 seconds left in the contest. This is going to be the last play of the game here.
Final play, so maybe possible hook and ladder play, or just the last couple plays they've been going Hail Mary, so I'll be interested to see if we have a little trick up our sleeve, try to get some yards, get in the open field, maybe make us some plays.
Every Thursday, team always has one trick play that they try to work on. They kind of throw it in with their 2-minute offense. Harvey, straight drop back, looks again to his left, down the left sideline. Rosenbaum unable to find the football. Ball was a little bit short anyway. And that is going to end the contest. So here at the end of 4, it's Lexington 27, Sidney 24. Sidney falls to 3-3 on the season, while Lexington comes up to 3-3. And that's basically, Eric, what we saw tonight. Two teams that were pretty even in ability and pretty even in their play tonight. Maybe not necessarily ability, but two teams that played pretty evenly throughout the contest.
Absolutely. Well, we thought coming in this would be a very competitive game, and Lexington kind of surprised us with their fast start, jumped off to a nice early lead where they scored their first 3 possessions of the game before going into halftime 20-6. Sidney in the second half really got the offense going. But, man, those final 3 possessions, they're going to be, I guarantee you, Coach Eckert's going to have a long night ahead of him where it's tough to sleep. I can think of games like this where I've been on my end where there's so many chances to win, and it just, for some reason or another, you just couldn't find that one play that you needed on either side of the ball, really, but especially on offense where you look at those final 3 possessions where they did such a good job marching down the field and just were unable to capitalize and punch in a score, punch in a touchdown. And these are the toughest games, I think, as a coach and as a player, too. At the time, just because of you gave everything you had, you fought, you had such an opportunity, and then unfortunately it was such a close game, such a competitive game, a great fight at the end, but we're unable to just make a big play on either side of the ball that they had to make late in the game, especially on those final 3 possessions, and you know they're going to be thinking about that a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely going to weigh heavily on their minds here. Obviously this is a game that Sidney did not want to see slip away from them. But that being said, you know, we fall to 3-3 on the season, and to be honest, it's been a long time since we've been 6 games into the season and still not had a losing record. So, I mean, there are a few bright spots. You know, all is not lost. And right now, you know, Coach Ecker's got to tell these guys that, yeah, there's a game we should have had. We'll go back and look at it, see what we need to improve on. Definitely things to improve on. But it's a whole new season. You know, Monday starts a whole new season, and it's simply because now we start district play. This is when things get serious. This is when things really matter. Everything you have for goals is still out in front of you. Everything you set as goals at the beginning of the year is still attainable. So with that, we have district play starting this next week. Sidney will be traveling to Alliance, Alliance had a game tonight at McCook. Very tough contest for them. After Alliance, we get into another district game with Gehring. That game will be at Gehring, I believe, at Gehring.
Yes.
And then we finish the season with Scotts Bluff. So, getting into district play, teams we're all very familiar with, have a long history with. Everybody part of the Western Conference there. So, nobody too scared of anyone else in that district. Everybody willing to step up to the line and answer the call, I believe. Alliance should be a great game next week. Even though it's at Alliance, no love lost between these two teams. I mean, we had a fight break out on the field last year. And if there's a marquee game on Sidney's schedule, as far as somebody that, boy, they would really like to put one back on, it's going to be Alliance. I can tell you right now that every time it comes up, and it doesn't matter whether it's volleyball, basketball, football, whatever, that's a team that Sidney has picked out that just not a lot of love for each other, and you can bet Sidney's going to bring their best effort. Whether we saw that tonight or not, it's hard to say. Obviously there was a few key plays that could have gone either way that would have made all the difference in the world in this game. But I would more than guarantee that Sidney really puts their best foot forward next week with Alliance.
Well, I think also going hand in hand with that is we've talked a lot, even though there was a lot of positions, a lot of opportunities in this game to win. Coach Eckert and the players, they're going to come back to practice on Monday. They're going to be excited to get back on the football field because now, just like you said, Season 2 starts with district play. Alliance next week. And while that happens, Scottsbluff and Gearing will be playing. So I think when you look ahead, we have 4 teams in this district that it's wide open. Everybody's record is very similar at this point. Coming into the week, it was all 3-2 or 2-3. Right. But I think it'll be exciting. I think Sidney, they're going to be geared up for Alliance, but they're going to be geared up when they play Gearing. They're going to be geared up when they play Scottsbluff. And these are 3 huge games now to have a chance to go to the playoffs, which would be the first time since 1994. That's almost 20 years. That's a long, long time. And that's why it's been so exciting for this start that Sidney's had. So even with the loss tonight, a lot to play for. Still in playoff position in wild cards, still in playoff position in districts. Everybody's 0-0 going into district play.
And not only that, but if you go back to just a winning season, first and foremost, Sidney wants to establish a winning season. And you would have to go back to 2005. 2005 was the last year that we had a winning season. Sidney went 5-4 that year. Stated that last week. We had a good group of guys. Alex Williams was a quarterback. Jimmy Weezer was a tackle. Matt Wiederspoon, another tackle. Colby Brower, center. Great group of people that were able to put together a winning season. Just missed out on the playoffs, however. Really came down to the fact that they lost that first game that year with Imperial in a 1-2 point game. So Sidney understands these things, you can't take anything for granted now. We're 3-3, but we got to find a way. We got to find a way to win at least 2 of these 3, and hopefully all 3, to try and win out and move into the playoffs at 6-3. So a lot here still left to play for Sidney. Been a great season so far. Kids have been just fantastic throughout the season. So attitudes are high. I think spirits, down a little bit right now, but I don't see this team folding up shop or anything soon like that. Well, thanks for being with us again here tonight on the broadcast. Apologize for any conveniences we had with microphones, cameras, and everything else. Banging on the shed. Yeah, Lexington guys trying to, I guess, get back in here with us, maybe. I'm not sure.
It was warmer. It was still cold. My hands are still cold over here.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. Thanks again to our camera crew. We had Jacob Peterson on one camera, Joseph Tomsick on our center camera, Gunnar Coffey out there on another camera, and Jacob Evertson helping out as well. Matt McKay, our technical director, putting things together for us, trying to keep us going, trying to keep us alive here. So for Eric Cole, I'm Roger Galloway saying thanks, everybody. It was a great game, and have a great evening.